These are the worst 3 chocolates, and you can't change my mind.
This guy spent $500 on nothing.
That's not my girl. That's our girl, man.
When you're doing all the right things, but then you're not seeing the results, I think that's where the frustration kind of comes in.
The whole date went for like 2 hours. She probably said collectively like 6 words, man.
You know we're paying, and this guy tells Noah, "You're from the Disruption podcast."
It's not going off unless there's fairy bread there.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying?
Bro, even if you paid me 200 grand, I wouldn't go. Inspiration needs isolation.
Yeah.
So maybe that 8 years was good for me.
Yo, what's up? Welcome back to another episode of the Disruption podcast.
Yes.
Big episode 200.
200.
Thank you for rocking with us this long. If you're on YouTube, make sure you subscribe, like, and comment. If you're on Spotify, Apple,
Chuck a rating, my friend.
SoundCloud,
That's it.
yeah, chuck a rating. Usually there's 5.0 stars.
Strong.
good.
Strong standard.
Hey, who do we have? It's Noah the Baghdaddy.
Chief Olasoji in the building, baby.
It's your girl, Moeezy.
It's the prince. What's happening?
House.
200 times,
Welcome.
boy.
100. Hey, seriously, thank you.
Yes,
for
we
listening
appreciate
this
you guys.
Much. It's actually kind of stupid.
And guess
Like,
what?
when you think about it, it's kind of stupid.
It's kind of stupid that they do.
It's cool.
But it's cool because they
Like
get to
they
hear from
listen.
some dope people like who we've got
Exactly.
on today, isn't it? So
Hey,
without
we made
further
sure
ado,
we get a good guest for episode 200.
Extra
So
special.
we have a legend in Melbourne's content scene. Not gonna lie. We got the one and only Teddy.
Let's
Thank
go.
you for joining us, bro.
Oh, man. Thank you for having
Ted,
me.
what's going on,
Episode
man?
200.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank
thank
you.
you.
What a solid achievement, man. That's 200 hours worth of content.
At
Um,
least.
if I,
close
yeah,
to
exactly.
400.
man.
Yeah,
If I reach 200 hours, I'll be wrapped. So credit to you guys, man.
Thank you. Thank
Nah,
you.
it's been a fun journey. It's been a
How many
fun
did Michael
journey.
Jordan do? 10,000 or 1,000? Did he say that you need to do?
10,000
Yeah,
10,000
I
hours.
don't know if we're gonna get to 10,000.
Come on, man.
It could be
10,000 minutes.
Yeah,
10,000
There you
minutes.
go. There you go.
10,000.
There you go.
We'll go minutes, man.
I want to
go
start
minutes.
this by asking the podcast, yeah?
Okay.
What do your parents think of this now? And how involved are they still? Because I remember Moa used to say your mom was watching. You'd hear her watching episodes. She's still watching us?
She still watches.
Very good.
She still watches.
Very good, very good. Hopefully
Shout out,
she
mum.
likes us.
Shout out, mum.
She doesn't understand, but she watches.
That's it, yeah.
She's out there happy.
Yeah.
She's not smiling, and that's all she
Hey,
needs
she
to know.
sees you on the TV.
Yeah.
She's like, yeah, there we go. That's my girl.
She doesn't know there's only 5 subscribers
That's
or something.
it.
You know what I mean?
Never mind, this is on ABC, SBS. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's on YouTube. Your parents.
Yeah, yeah.
Where they at with all this?
They rock with it.
Yeah.
I think it's funny though, yeah, because what we were doing before, because we all had a previous YouTube phase,
Yeah.
might have tainted their image of what they
What?
expect from the content.
Yeah.
That we used to shoot something in my crib. My parents heard on the first episode, body count, this, that. You're not filming in this house anymore. You're not filming in this
We'll
house
start shooting at this guy's house.
anymore.
Bro, we'll start shooting at my house now.
But no, they know that there's something going on with this. You know that they know something's popping
going on.
with what's going on. So they're behind it, and with the things to come that we've been telling them about, they're like, oh wow,
Yeah.
you guys are taking this serious. So yeah.
Yeah. Where are your parents at with it, Carl?
I know our videos always playing on the living room when my dad is sitting, like watching TV. I don't know if that's by choice.
Or algorithm?
That, but because like the main TV,
Yeah.
I'm like the YouTube, I'm logged in,
Okay.
right? So then like, cause I'm I'm watching our stuff, right?
Yeah.
So then it comes on. So I'm like, okay, I'm walking past. He's sitting over there. I'm like, oh, good, huh? But then I was thinking, I was like, okay, cool. Did he he's enjoying it now? It's on. He's watching it, right? But it happens quite often. So yeah, I still don't know if it's by choice because it's my YouTube channel that's on, or if it's like, let me suss these guys out.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's always like, oh, this is good. I am sometimes worried about a couple of episodes.
Yeah.
About no shaming something, What about you? What about your parents?
So
What
my
they say?
parents, they've always been cool with it. I mean, my dad's always let us use his space, all that kind of stuff.
Sure, they think you're
Last week, bro, my dad's perspective changed on the whole thing.
Oh.
Right? In a positive
In
way.
a
Like in
positive
the
way,
most
yep.
positive
Yep,
way.
yep.
We're shopping at Costco. He's like, I need to find a suitcase. I need to travel, whatever. I'm like,
Right.
cool. Let's go. So me and him go. We're paying at the register. The guy, his name's Keith. Shout out to Keith.
Shout out Keith.
He goes, hey, bro, sorry, it's a bit awkward, but are you from the Disruption podcast?
Oh.
For me, it's happened in nightclubs. It's happened in community events, all this. It's cool. It's very fun, you know? That was the first time it's kind of happened in that setting and first time in front of my dad, right? And my dad, afterwards, he's like, how did he know? How did he know? And it was cute. We get home. I go to my room. I hear him talking to my mom in the kitchen. You know we're paying? And this guy tells Noah, "You're from the Disruption podcast." and from there, he's clocked like, "Yo, something is actually
building.
like there's reach here."
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So it was actually like crazy to see that aspect
Oh,
of
that's
it.
awesome.
And then I was like, "Bro, we need to run this episode, one with my dad and one with your mom, bro. It has to
Yeah,
happen."
we've
At
been
some
wanting that
point
episode.
in between 200 and 300. We need to do this.
Oh yeah.
So
It's
like-
in the works.
yeah.
Yeah, it'll happen. It'll happen, man.
Now with you, yeah.
That'll be like a Marvel and DC crossover.
Daniel's mom, how do you feel about this? At least he's not talking about body count.
He's progressed.
Yeah, of course. We've gone from like body count to video count. Oh, he's on 200 episodes.
There you go.
Progress.
How did your parents take you being what you are? Because there's an aspect of it where I'm like, this is another conversation I want to get into with you. It's like, you are good at going viral. And that's because when I first moved to Australia, I think you were the first Australian YouTuber that I came across, right? And I was like, and then you went away for a bit, or at least from my algorithm, you went away for a bit, and then you came back around, and I was like, to do it once is crazy, to do it twice is insane, right? But obviously through all that, your parents, your family has kind of been like, okay, Teddy is known, at least locally, right? And everywhere we go, I'm guessing you get recognized at the least. What was that like for you and then for them as well?
So, are we talking OG YouTube or are we talking now?
I want to hear both.
Originally, what was
Yeah.
it? Because that was what, 2013,
So,
14?
2013.
Yeah.
2013. No. 2011.
Yeah.
No, 2012.
Yeah, 2011 is when I came in, so
It's
2012, yeah.
end of 2011,
Yeah.
start of 2012.
Yeah.
So the initial was like, I remember like after like my first very viral video, I was at a shopping center, and mind you, like it went viral, but I wasn't really aware, because like when you just see numbers on a computer screen, you're just like, yeah, man, 10,000 people watched it. What's that, right? What's
Then you
10,000?
think about, you could fill a stadium with 10,000.
Exactly. You know, there are tennis courts you could fill up with 10,000.
Yeah.
This guy comes up to me. He's like, "You're that guy who makes YouTube videos," and I'm like, "Yeah." He's
What do you
like-
want?
He's like, "Bro, my friends won't believe that I met you. I've got to get a photo."
Wow.
And I'm like, no. Well, no, we're not taking a photo. He's like, no, we
What
got to
are you
take a
gonna do
photo.
with
We got to
that?
take a photo.
Yeah.
He bullied me into taking a photo. Then I was like, man, that was weird.
Yeah.
But like, whatever, an anomaly,
Yeah.
just so one-off thing. And then it just started happening more and more and more. And then that's when it sort of kicked off. The first 6 months, my parents had no idea. They just knew like I made videos, but just me talking to a webcam in my bedroom. That's all back then. It was just a webcam, me talking to a webcam. They didn't think anything of
I
it.
said Teddy's lonely, man.
They're just like,
a loser.
this guy's probably just scrolling on Omegle, talking to like randoms and like having a chat or chat roulette or something like that. And then what happened was, I think someone at my mum's work, she's like, she goes up to my mum and she's like, my mum works in disability. So another carer comes up to my mum. She's like, "Oh my God, you'll never guess. There's this funny guy on YouTube. We watch me and my
way.
family every Sunday. We get together. He drops a video. I said, you've got to watch. He's the funniest." And my mum's like, "Oh, like, who is this guy?"
Yeah.
She pulls out the video and she
way.
sees my head.
Bro, no way.
She's like, I know this guy's an idiot.
She's like, yeah, pretty much. She's like, "That's my son." And it was almost like, nah, like, you know, you're taking the piss. She's
Yeah.
like, no, man, he's the funniest. You know, he's huge on YouTube, yada, yada. My mum comes home. She's like, "Oh, someone at work showed me your videos." And, you know, a lot of swearing, but it's funny. And, you know, my mum being born and raised here, like, she understood, like, sort of what was going on. But I don't think she understood the magnitude of it, like how, like, you know, viral videos were going, you know, 100,000 views. Like, that's an MCG, right? And this is back then, 2011, 2012.
Those numbers
Yeah.
then,
For
man.
those days.
Exactly. Like back then, if you had like 10,000 followers, you were like Kim Kardashian, right?
Influencer.
Right? So, and you're talking at like 100,000 views, 200,000 views. Like a bad video was like 60,000 views. Like that was like, I'd look at it and be like, "Oh my God, this video flopped, only did 60,000 views." And then my dad, he worked in a pizza shop ran by Somalians. And
I've never heard of
Yeah.
Somalia. I'm just gonna say that. real quick.
welcome to Heidelberg. Welcome to
How much
Heidelberg.
pizza was sold there?
A lot, man. A lot, man. Trust me, man. To feed a Somali family, forget it. Yeah, and like some kid comes up to him and is like, "Oh, you're Teddy's dad." And then I think like I probably put up a photo of me and him on Facebook, like it was Eid, you know, with my family and everything. And he's like, "Who's Teddy?" And then it's like, "This guy,"
I
and
was
it
gonna
pulls
ask
up a
you, where
photo
does
of us.
Teddy come from?
That was a nickname in high school.
Okay.
Yeah, and then like my real name is Rashid.
Yeah.
So,
Word.
yeah. So like completely different, right? And then when I went, because it's Moroccan, it's French spelling, so it's with a CH. And I'm like, man, if I put this up, like, bro, I spent the last 10 years in school, teachers butchering my name. Ratchet, Richard, I don't know. And I'm like, you know what? I'll just roll with my nickname.
Yeah.
And so I just went with Teddy. Back then, I'm Mr. Teddy, now Tedsthetics.
Yeah.
And then, my parents found out, like, whatever. My dad was just like, oh, yeah, cool. You're just making videos online, whatever. It is what it is. Fast forward to now, I think my parents was sort of had the whole, like, you're married, you've got kids, how could you make videos? And I'm just like, bro, I don't care, man. I'm making videos. My wife approves.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what happens.
Yeah.
And then, like, now it's kicked off again. And it's like, I think they've sort of seen the potential of it back then. And now they're seeing that again. They sort of understand them more. And it's mainstream now. Like, now if someone says they do a podcast, it's like, oh, yeah, I understand what you're doing.
Yeah.
Whilst back then, you tell people you make videos on YouTube, they're like, what are you on about, bro? Isn't that like only in America?
The internet.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, man, now my parents just, like, they acknowledge it. Who knows what they say behind my back, good or bad, but I'll take anything I can get, man.
Kids are running into the pizza shop and say, "You as dad." No,
No, I disowned him ages ago. He's married now. So, yeah, man, that's how they rolled with it back then. And now they're sort of just like, they understand it, they get it, and they're just like, they live with it knowing that I'm doing it. And the fact that I'm doing it now full time is that's harder for them than it is like me making content. So like, there's no way you could make enough money to feed a family, and it's like times have changed.
My kids are having Maccas
That's
for
it,
breakfast.
yeah, exactly, yeah. Shout out Tullamarine Maccas for a good breakfast.
Yeah.
I am curious to know the transition, because you went viral the first time. What happened there? Was there a drop off, or you're like, okay, I'm gonna stop this, I want to focus on something else, and you've come back to creating content? What was the transition between the first time into was it 2012?
So I stopped in 2013, 2014. So like it's 2014, would say. So around the year and a half to 2 years of doing it, and I stopped.
But you would have been like, everyone's recognizing you, your dad's friends coming up to him and so on. What made you stop?
I think like you get to a certain point, you realize that it takes a team to come up with content.
Yeah.
And like you look at Mr. Beast now, look at all the best like people that have stayed like relevant from then till now. They've had teams behind them, studios and everything. When you're 17, 18 years old and you're making videos, you don't know that. You just think, all right, cool, I'm getting this disposable income. It doesn't matter. And for like I was 18 at the time, and I was getting like, I'm happy to disclose this now, like $6,000 a month from YouTube for just making a video a week.
Wow.
So imagine you're living at home, disposable income for like a shit month was like $2,500.
That's amazing.
Still a lot. Still a lot.
Yeah,
for that age.
like this is the magnitude of it. Yeah, just YouTube, no like products, no nothing.
Yeah.
Just YouTube, just me making a video a week, and it'll just like sort of like drip feed into the other videos, and then it just compounded up to like I think my best month was like $10,000
Wow.
in 1 month, and
18,
yeah, at 18, 19, yeah, exactly, and just from YouTube, and then I sort of like let go. It got to the end where I didn't know back then that I needed the team. Or I needed to reinvest that money back into making videos or getting like someone to write videos with me or whatever. And I sort of just got turned off because I was burnt out and like things around me were changing. Your mates are no longer your mates. Some friends were like, oh, it's too much attention being with you. Because you got to remember, you're going out to clubs.
People
recognizing you. And it's not just good recognition. It's also bad recognition.
People didn't like you.
No, not people didn't like me. It was almost like... my friend, like, how can I explain it? There were like 3 girls. 2 girls love my videos. The other girl isn't a huge fan. Oh, nah. Like, oh, no, don't speak to him. I was like, so it was like almost like awkward. Not bad. Just like, just pettiness or whatever. Like, bro, I don't care. Like, bro, your girls are the ones that come up to me. Like, I'm not going up to them. Like, I'm just here.
100%.
And, there'll be guys like, like, oh, my girlfriend likes your videos, but yeah, like, it's all
I
right.
didn't get it.
So it was just like,
What's your name again? Bear or something?
Oh, yeah.
They trying to play around.
Yeah, of course, man. And you like you really don't know who's like being serious and who's not. And you're 18, bro. You don't know the difference. So I was like, you know what? I think it's best like I just let this go.
That's interesting.
It was good whilst it lasted, and that first 6 months was hard because like imagine you go from like being, arguably I think back then YouTube had rankings and I was number 3 in Australia in comedy.
Who
And
was
I
the head?
think
My Chinese?
My Chinese super wog.
Super Wog.
My Chinese
Right.
and super wog were top 2, and I was 3rd.
Yeah, wow.
And,
Mad.
but I was
Yo,
climbing up
That's
fast.
crazy.
Like I was climbing up fast. So if I kept going, who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we're not gonna think of what ifs. And I was like, all right, cool. I'm just gonna let go. I let go completely. And imagine going to like a traditional job, right? You know, when you go,
So when do we make 6K this month?
yeah, exactly. And they're just like, oh, what the hell are you on about? So you go back to a traditional job. It's not even about the money.
Yeah.
Because like at that age, you don't need the money.
Yeah, 100%.
It's about people are like, oh,
What happened?
like, man, you got 100,000 subscribers on YouTube. What are you doing working here?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, man, it's a tough conversation. So every single time I was working, it was a punch in the mouth.
Yeah.
Whether it's a customer or whether it's like staff, I'd be like, oh, man, you were this and now you're this. And for 6 months, I just took it.
Yeah.
And then in that 6 months, I worked really hard. Like I think it was my coping mechanism to stop. And then I traveled, went to Europe, went to Morocco, visited family and everything, came back. And I think the dust settled. And then I could just like, all right, cool. What do I actually want to do?
Wow.
That's crazy.
So that was the first break. And that was for 8 years.
Yo.
Yeah.
Okay,
7 years. Sorry.
That's a resignation from the game, not even a break.
I hung up the jersey.
Yeah.
hung up the jersey, I burnt it.
Yo,
everything.
the hanger's gone
wait,
too.
wait.
Everything.
When you came back and then I was first start, during the years, like the 7-8 years there, did you regret anything at that point? In terms
think-
of like stopping the videos.
You go through waves, yeah. That you find like at one point, there's always that. What if I kept going?
Yeah.
Or there's the like conversation of, oh, you should have kept going. Like people don't care. People just come up and be like, oh, if you kept going, you'd be as big as Jake Paul or Logan Paul.
Yeah,
And, like, my goal wasn't to be like that. And like back then, there wasn't no Jake Paul, no Logan Paul, no nothing, right? There was no examples. But when, for example, like if Michael Jordan only played 2 years of basketball, would we have known would he be Michael Jordan or not? Like after just 2 years, like anything could have changed, anything could have happened, injuries. Yeah. So for me, like people kept comparing me, and there were times where I'm just like, bro, I don't want to live that life. Yeah. And then there were times where I'm just like, oh man, I should have kept going. I'm an idiot. Maybe I should start making videos again. And there was 2 times where I started making videos again, and like I'd make 3-4 videos, and like by the 4th video, I think when you're away from it, by the 4th video, you start getting some comments or some things, and it starts to affect you. Yeah. Well, it's at that magnitude and the magnitude that it is now, it's like, bro, it doesn't faze me.
Yeah.
It doesn't faze me. Like, oh, someone says like X, Y, Z about me. I'm just like, yeah, all right, cool story, bro. Like you could have just kept scrolling.
Yeah.
Like, right, you think I care about your hate comment? Like, whatever, man. And, being 29 versus being 18, it's a world of a difference,
Yeah,
like now I know, it's water off a duck's back.
Yeah.
I'm not going to sit there and take everything personally because they don't know me personally.
Exactly.
So why should I take it personally?
Yeah.
That'll be a very nice aspect to get into it, where you're at completely different time points, doing quote unquote kind of the same thing, but with a whole new perspective on it, or like being almost a whole new person, but within the same kind of field. And I guess ultimately the kind of growth that goes on in between that. But I think before that, I was interested in I guess almost like level of maturity required to drop something where you feel like you've got so much within it as well. Like you can feel the potential, like not even just feel it like it's bubbling, like it's there.
You
see the fruits
numbers,
of it. Yeah, you
followers
see
and
numbers.
money
You
and
see,
this
people stopping you, your dad, family, all that kind of stuff there. And then to be like, you know what, now because of this, it's actually not worth all of that. Like I wonder what it is within that, where like it really puts everything in perspective of like it's some things, if it's not if it's impacting this area or that area, like it's generally not worth it. But this is still what all of us are chasing and running towards at the same time, though.
I feel like at that point there was a lot of self-doubt, in the sense of like, I think for 6 months leading up to me like dropping everything was like people saying like, man, this is not going to last. Yeah, like you're getting 10K a month now. All right, cool, but it's not going to last. Yeah. And who knows? Like we can sit here argue all night. Like it could have lasted forever. Could have, like 6 months in and last 2 more months, and then everything is forgotten. Who knows, right? But there was like, there was a lot of like, oh, you bro, relax. Who do you think you are? Yeah. Like people, you tell people and be like, bro, like I'll help you make a YouTube channel. This is what I'm doing. You could do something similar. People are like, nah, there's no such thing. Bro, relax. You're gonna do this for 2-3 more months, and that's it. So, yeah, man. I think like towards the end, like now in hindsight, I look back and I'm like, I think people just talked me down to a point, like, and then they talked me out of it, and I'm just like, you know what, they're right, and then just left the game.
Yeah, that it's tough because when I look at it, I'm like, yo, at that time, and you're just on the feed. You and I mean, we haven't even tapped into it yet. The Janoskian bros as well. Yeah. That phase, that era, just constantly there. In my mind, I'm like, I'm trying to be doing that, and I won't let it go. You know what I mean? But then there's aspect of like, yeah, if it's people near you as well, like doing that, it kind of speaks a lot louder than even what's in your own mind sometimes. Of course, man. And you're surrounded by technically teenagers, right? 18, 19. Yeah. Most of the boys that I know were like in their first, second year apprenticeship. But if they're earning $500 a week, if that $300 back then, they're probably going to turn around and tell you like, bro, what you're doing, it's like selling drugs. Like, it's not going to last long. Yeah. It's like, you're doing well now, but we'll see you. We'll see you soon.
This way.
You better get a real job, man.
Yeah, or like, there's always the saying like, if you get any bigger, you'll end up moving to America. And you know what happens in America? They'll give you drugs and then you'll disappear. And then you'll end up like chewed up and spat out.
You're naked on TV.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, and then,
You don't want that, do you, Teddy?
Yeah, exactly, man. So, and next thing you know, you're like turned into like a teddy bear with like weird costumes and stuff like that, and who knows what. But like I said, we can debate the what ifs, but I stepped away knowing it was the right decision. For sure. The first 6 months, like I said, were hard, but it is what it is. And thank God I've come out on the other end. And
I think that's the thing. Like, the what ifs are just that, and it's no point dwelling, because it's like there's also the side where it's like, all right, what if you had kept going and then there wouldn't be this second phase? And if it stopped a little bit after, and then you're like, nah, I hate content now and whatever. But it's like, you stopped at that point, and for whatever reason, at this point, came back around. That's crazy. So, like, it's insane.
I'm interested though, like, because you're only like, what, a couple years old. It's like 4 years, 5 years. So life experience, I mean, there's a lot that gets packed into life experience as well within that, yeah. But I'm like, even for us, is there anything that we can pinpoint where we've potentially had that kind of an experience of something, of
like dropping something?
Yeah, because in my mind, I was like, it's because you've had so long. But it's a long career, obviously, as well, of, being involved in that kind of a space. I'm like, is there anything like that we even have had in some kind of a capacity? Like,
has there ever been like an episode where you like, or at least like a run of episodes, where you just like, man, I don't know, is this it? Like you go through a phase. Like, I'll give you a good example. Then you guys tell me your story. Yeah. I'll go through a phase where I'll post up like 2-3 videos. They'll do well. Or like I'll make them and I won't feel the best after them. And I post them and I'm like, well, I think this is the end. This is it. This is what they've been telling me about. Has that ever happened to you guys?
Yeah, I was talking about this with another podcast in Melbourne. Shout out to Bittersweet. I was talking with one of their hosts, and we were saying like, okay, we've both been at this about the same amount of time, and part of you's like, we haven't blown up in the way like you think. You're like, in your mind, you go episode 1. And then there's going to be 10,000 views, and episode 10 is going to be 100,000 views, and then we're going to be set. And it's like, that hasn't happened. And there was a little part where I was like, has it just been too long of trying without it happening now? That is like, I'm like, not in a are we kidding ourselves thing, but it's just like, like, okay, we're having fun doing this, but is it going to bring in what we want, thought and whatnot? And I think that, like, if you dwell on, or at least for me, it's like, if I dwell on that, it gets like, depressing in a sense, but then also it's like every 2-3 weeks you'll get that TikTok video that does 80K, 100K, whatever, and you're like, to be honest, I enjoy this.
TikTok saved us, man. But
I'm not gonna lie,
TikTok is carrying.
TikTok said, "Hey, podcast, come here." You know what I mean?
I think the frustration comes from like when you're doing everything the right way. Like, we've been consistent. That's the number one thing that people always say. You guys are very consistent. We've gotten guests on that people like enjoy, that have great stories. We're posting regularly. We're out and about networking and stuff. So it's like when you're doing all the right things, but then you're not seeing the results. I think that's where the frustration kind of comes in. And I know for a long time we were kind of like in a slumber where we weren't getting much guests, and it was like it was just us back to back. COVID online as well.
Zoom episodes, that was
gosh.
BS.
Even during COVID, we were still recording, but even that, we were just like, we don't want to do this.
I actually enjoed the COVID episodes.
Looking back at them, yes.
Oh damn! because like that was like I let all my frustrations of everything out on their necks. I remember there was one episode where I literally all I did was I just like screamed or something like that, man. And there was one funny as when we came back into lockdowns or something. We just started there, we're all just silent, just looking at the screens like,
we're back here.
We're back. But like,
The Zoom episodes were good content in terms of the conversation that we're having.
Yeah.
Was good. It was just
good
it was
content,
just
bad
Zoom.
internet.
And then
Yeah,
one
bad
person's face
internet.
would freeze, and then
Hey, good answer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think in terms of the content that we create, like we always know it's good. We like our content, and that's what's a bit frustrating. It's like this is good content. Why are you guys not liking it?
Yeah.
tell your friends.
Yeah, like it's like if we get one more 50 views, we're dropping this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So it's
yeah.
like that. But now I think being able to see what's out there, different platforms, different guests, and say, okay, cool, how can we do this? How can we do that? And that's what I mean. Like, yeah, TikTok came in and said, hey, I heard you're looking for me. Right, and then we started putting our stuff there, and you know, get a bit more recognition, a bit more views that transition into Instagram, into YouTube, and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, I think it's just all about kind of finding different ways. If you're stuck, and we were stuck, everyone gets stuck, but then now it's a question of what do you do when you're stuck, right? You know, are you looking for different platforms to be able to produce your content, or are you saying I'm thinking of quitting? And I don't think we've never thought of quitting. We just always thought of, okay, what's the strategy? What can we do? I remember Noah said, hey guys, if we don't get a guest next week, like I had enough of you guys. I was saying, hey, yeah, let's do it. And then back-to-back guests. So that was good.
Yeah.
What's it look like having to convince people of not your worth? That sounds so such a deep and massive question.
Yeah.
But like, having to convince people of like, I know how to do this.
Yeah.
Like I have something
I'm
here.
a guy for
Have you ever
it.
had to do a bit of convincing? You know, or even convincing yourself sometimes too.
Yes and no. I think like you guys familiar with Alex Hormozy?
Author?
It's like he owns acquisition.com.
Okay.
He does like a lot of like talks, sales, marketing,
Mm-hmm.
business type of
Who's the
stuff.
CFO?
I think
And he says,
I think he was on what's his name? Stephen Bartlett's thing one time.
yeah,
The
he was.
Mind of
Yeah, I
CEO.
think so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I think he says something, and it's just like just got to have like a stack of evidence that proves you're undeniable. And for me, like with my self-worth, I'm just like, bro, if like, especially the second time around making videos, I don't have to sit here and like beg people to watch my videos.
Yeah.
I'll just make a video that funny, that punchy, especially with like TikTok and Instagram Reels. Like you've just got to, it's got to hit people in the face. Yeah. People's first reaction when they meet me is like, oh man, you're very reserved,
Yeah,
very
you're kinda
chill.
chill, huh?
Yeah, you're kind of chill. And I'm like, yeah, because, you know, if I'm there, like, oh, hi guys, you know, this is what I
Persuade
think
me.
about this, and you can't change my mind. I mean, maybe you can. Whilst if I'm just like, boom, boom, boom,
Yeah.
like, you know, these are the worst 3 chocolates, and you can't change my mind. And people are just like, whoa, 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 I gotta
Yeah,
wait
yeah.
and see.
Yeah,
So I just make it very punchy, and I'm just like, you know what? I've got the formula. I've done it before. I can do it again. And honestly, the main reason I came back to TikTok is because like people were making videos, and it wasn't all that. And I'm just like, bro, I can do this so much better. I know I can.
Yeah.
Whether it's DNA or whether I don't know what it is, man.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I can do this better.
Yeah.
I've done it before. I can do it now. I've got a lot of experience behind me. And like I said earlier, man, inspiration needs isolation.
Yeah.
So maybe that 8
Like-
years was good for me.
Yeah.
Good for me to go get married, travel, have kids, and do things. Like now when I make videos about parenting, people are like, oh, no one makes funny videos about parenting.
Yeah.
So, you know, there are certain things that I
That's
talk
true.
about. You know, when I talk about relationships, I mean, I'm saving that stuff for stand-up. But, you know, like there are certain things that, you know, I want to talk about that people don't want to joke about or people don't want to think. And it's, I'm like, cool, that's the gap in the market.
Yeah.
That's how I'm going to come in. I'm going to bring in my style. Because people are always like, oh, you know, you're like Super Wog or you're like this. And I'm like, bro, it's like,
Very
bro, I'm very different.
Yeah.
I'm in
Yeah.
my own lane doing my thing. And I'm just like, that's it.
Yeah.
So just make it super punchy and, you know, put the content out there. And, you know, the worth eventually comes. And, bro, like, never settle. You know, everyone is very easy to take the first offer that they get. Or, you know, like, you know, people selling stuff on Facebook Marketplace. Someone just lowballed you. Would you take it? Most
Usually.
likely, nine
Yeah.
times out of
I've been trying to get rid of this couch, man.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
just say $5 sure.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Whilst if, you know, you get to a
Yeah.
point where you're just like, no, I'm not going to settle until I get the price that I'm worth it, then so be it. And, you know, like there's been so many things I had to say no to just because I'm like, it either compromises like what I'm like my standard for money or compromises my standard for my morals and, you know, values. So,
I'm still
Yeah.
shook on 8 years, man. Not gonna lie. No, you jump in. I'm shook on 8
Yeah,
years
I was
away
shook
from
on
something
8
that
years.
you love. But yeah, jump in.
No, I was gonna
Okay.
say. So the main reason you came back is because you felt like you could do this better than what's being produced at the moment.
50-50. So I think like lockdown like really affected me in the sense of like I need to do something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I need to work something out.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? I turned to my wife. I remember like we went to the city that day. you know, obviously everything was still like very restricted, like, oh, only 10 people in this store and like that. And I remember like just looking around and I'm just like, man, I think I got to make a video about, so I don't know what it was. Like, I got to make a video about, you know, these businesses. And she's like, oh, you know what? Like, if you do it, do it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know what? I'll sit on it.
Mm.
A few days later, I just literally just hopped into the car, recorded the video, and I put it up. I put it up. There were friends that were like familiar with my content. And like, oh, good to see you doing content back. So I guess like when you let it go completely and you do it, it'll be like if, you know, if you guys are into football, like it'll be like if Roberto Carlos came to play for Melbourne Victory. You wouldn't be like, oh, you're old, get off the pitch. You'd be like, oh, wow.
Welcome back.
Yeah, welcome back, bro. Legend, right? And I was just like, you know, so people gave me my props. A few people shared it, but it went like super viral on TikTok. And I think it was like something that wasn't like, oh, get ready with me today. Or, you know, like this is my dance or stuff like that. It was different.
Something different.
Yeah, this is my silly dance. Yeah, like this is the new viral song that we're dancing to. It was different. So people just gravitated towards it. And feedback, man. Just like whatever feedback people give me. I mean, with podcasts, it's a bit different, but with my 1 minute videos, it's like people are ready to comment. People are ready, like if short form content, people won't watch your 1 hour podcast, but they'll comment on that 1 minute video and give you their opinion on like how much you suck or how good you are.
And how
based
bald
off of
your
1
head is.
minute. Yeah, exactly.
How bald your
Like,
head is,
yeah.
You
You know, like
head is head,
I
man.
love it.
that's so the feedback is always there, and I just worked off of that.
So I'm guessing the second time doing it, you would gain a little bit of momentum. So now it's like, okay, cool, this might go viral. Did you ever question yourself, like, what if I quit again like the first time? Or what changes did you put in place to make sure that that doesn't happen?
My wife held me accountable, man. I think, like she said, if you're going to do this, you're going to do this 100% properly. Like, don't. Whilst before that, like every time I've come back, it's been like, oh, just do it. And then I will make 2 videos and I'm like, no. So she's like, if you're going to do this, do it. And
That's a good woman.
I think the one thing, man, shout out to my wife, right? Like, honestly, like none of this is possible without it. You know, Adam, you know, God, her, and my daughters in that order.
I love it.
You know, and like I remember we got to a point, like I was making videos every week. It got to the last month of lockdown. And I remember like, I'm just making videos, just having fun. Like, honestly, just posting 2 videos a week. It's growing a little bit. And I remember like there was 1 month before like everything sort of ending and things opening up and going back to work. And I was in the fitness industry. So obviously things were like really tough for us. Gyms were closed and everything. And like, I think we got hit with a bill. Whether, I don't know if it was insurance or something, like something ridiculous, like just hit us. And I'm just like, oh, we completely miscalculated for that. And I remember like,
debilitate you, man. That one will
like
ruin the day.
When you get Red Joe and insurance on the same hit, it's like, it's like a 1-2 combo, yeah?
You're just waiting for the good night.
Yeah, pretty much, man. I mean, yeah, pretty much. And so like we miscalculated like 1 bill. And I'm just like, man, like what do we do? Like money-wise, like, you know, do we start chewing into savings that we sort of, you know, projected that we're going to have this, we're going to have that. And then she's like, I don't know. That same day, I got a message from an agency and they did a deal with Chemist's Warehouse. And they're just like, well, we need a video, we need an ad, but we need it done by tomorrow. And I'm like,
and it needs to be this much as my invoice.
no. Like, and mind you, it was like my first ever deal. So I've never like had any of experience. And then they're like, oh, you know, how much do you charge?
How much is my bill?
Literally, I looked at the bill, $1,012, and I said to them $1,000. They're like, yeah, done. I turned to my
I'll
wife.
front the 12.
Yeah, exactly. I turned to my wife. I'm like, oh my god,
It's
they want me to
paid.
make the video for him. And she's like, that's it. How much are they paying you? And I'm like, literally what the bill says. No way. Like, yeah.
That is
Sweet.
awesome.
And then that was sort of like the catalyst of like, all right,
Yeah.
cool. This is starting to become something where people are starting to recognize it.
Yep.
Shout out to Chemist Warehouse.
Shout out to them.
You know, like they sort of carried in that moment. And that's when I'm like, all right, cool. I can actually make something of this. Because like Instagram and TikTok doesn't pay you directly like YouTube does, right? So the only way we make money is through brand deals. And, you know, I'm open and honest about that, about my fees and everything. And, that was the point where I was like, all right, cool. This carried. Even if I do go back to work, there's no real guarantee that we're going to stay open. So let me just keep making videos. If the money comes, it comes. It's a blessing. It comes. If it doesn't, it's also a blessing because that means that money wasn't meant for me anyway.
Yeah.
The fitness industry stuff, right? Because I feel like that was the end of the first phase, I feel I remember you doing a lot of fitness.
What do you
Do you even lift all that stuff?
Yeah.
That was you, right? Like that was you. Was that your phrase or?
Nah, so I sort of like coined it, made it a meme
Yeah.
type thing. So the guys that have do even clothing.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask you. So are you involved with that or what?
So at the start, yes.
Okay.
And then towards the end, like a few things happen and like whatever that sort of soured out. But yeah, sort of coined the term, made a few memes, and then like people will come up to me in the street, oh, do you even lift? And like,
You even lift,
you know,
bro?
yeah, exactly. So it's just something that caught on,
Yeah.
and it stayed like that. So that was around the time that I was like, I don't want to make videos.
Yeah.
I look at myself in the mirror, I'm not really happy, so let me start gym. And then that's where the name Tedsthetics came from, because at the time, like when I made my Instagram, I was doing men's physique, so bodybuilding show,
Ah.
and I was like aesthetics, Tedsthetics.
Except we were.
And it stuck, yeah,
Yeah.
and it stuck till today. So
wow.
yeah, that was sort of like in the 8 years, heavily focused on training, traveling, and just working, honestly, and just like trying to like sort of ice myself to not go back into that. Like, oh man, I should have kept going. I should have.
Yeah.
So that was sort of my coping mechanism, my escape, and just working as well.
Again, minor thing you mentioned, Roberto Carlos. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that who, like, when you think of your childhood, is that like who you were like, this is who I want to be, or what was it?
Yes and no. Like I grew up, my dad, obviously, we lived in Morocco for 4 years. My first memory of Real Madrid, my whole family's Real Madrid fans, is like obviously Figo getting the transfer from Barcelona to Madrid. That was my first like memory of
Pig's
Real
head.
Madrid. Yeah, and like the pig's head getting thrown and everything. And, you know, Salgado, Figo, Roberto Carlos, Guti, Raul Gonzalez, like, you know, Zidane, Beckham, Michael Owen. Like I'm thinking like,
Galacticos,
yeah,
yeah.
exactly, man, the OG. So whenever I think of like legendary, I think of like moments like that. And I just think, you know, like 50 Cent in the club. I think with my videos, whenever I make a video, my state of mind, I know this is a tangent, but every time I make a video, I want it to be timeless. I want it to be, whether we post this video today, a year ago, or next year, it's still going to be relevant, right? And I think of like Roberto Carlos, like that era of Real Madrid, free kick and everything. Like, bro, you can play that 10 years from now when the game is completely changed, and it'll still be relevant.
Makes no sense. Yeah.
Think of the Adidas Predators. Like people, you know, like people still like look at those boots and think, oh my God, they're amazing. And, you know, that ties back to Zidane, that ties back to the OG of football. And, you know, like for me, anything that I touch now, like I want it to be evergreen. I want it to be like when my kids watch it 20 years from now, they laugh at it because it's timeless. So that's where the whole Roberto Carlos and everything comes in, because it's just legendaries, legends, and they're legendary. You know,
Who's your people that's like that from your childhood?
timeless. Someone
Like
you just
from
look back.
whatever, like whatever it might be, or just like you think about them and it makes you happy.
It makes you happy.
You know what I mean?
Or
Like,
someone brings them up and it just takes you back to a good time. And for me, that was always Real Madrid
Yeah.
when I was young.
I'll grow Barca fans.
Wow, yeah, Barca, man. Samuel Eto'o and them boys. man.
Ronaldinho, Eto'o, that was a
Eto'o,
crazy
yeah.
time.
That was like Deco, Ronaldinho, Thierry Henry. Yeah.
Yeah,
Man. Good
Puyol.
times, huh? Puyol, yeah.
Like artists,
trying to think of
NBA,
an artist or
whatever it
something.
could be.
Like music. Like for me, Drake.
Right?
Oh.
Yeah, man. Like I remember,
Like what album, what songs?
like I'm an, like,
Old.
like old. I'm talking like I used to go on a website called Raperator,
Oh yeah.
and they used to post like, the song will come out, bro. And like 2 minutes later, it's on this website.
Yeah.
They have a great podcast till this day. Rap Radio.
Yeah, I'm sure YN.
Yeah.
That's his name. Is that his name? YN?
Unless he
I
changes.
don't know.
still
Yeah. Oh, well, that was his
Wilson
sort of
and-
like
yeah.
initials. And bro, they used to post videos, music, and everything. And I remember like them posting like, oh, there's this new rapper from Canada. His name is Drake. And I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll check it out. And I remember checking it out, and I listened to Best I Ever Had, like just like probably just before he signed with Lil Wayne.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, this guy's gonna be huge. And I'm like, man, this is crazy. And I remember going to my mates at school, and I'm like, bro, trust me, this guy.
everything.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, you know, like winding and grinding on the microphone. and I'm like, man, this is gonna be the best, man. Like, bro, if you're speaking to girls, dedicate this song to her right now before someone else does. Yeah. So like that was my earliest memory. Then he released like So Far Gone, the mixtape, and I was just like, man, this is crazy. Fast forward like a couple years later, I was in Malaysia. And this girl was like, man, have you heard of the artist The Weeknd? And I'm like, like when I get back to Australia, sort of show me his music.
Yep.
And then I went to a CD store in Malaysia, and the trilogy was there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, you know what? I'll grab it. I grabbed it, took it back to the hotel, plug it into the laptop, the CD. That's how old we're talking. I put it in the trilogy.
I forgot laptops had the CD.
They had the
there.
CD.
Yeah, man. Hopping out, I just slapped it in. And then, I remember listening to The Weeknd and I'm like, oh my God, this guy's going to be huge. And then obviously that's gone on. So sometimes our music artists, athletes, I think what they say, athletes, artists and entrepreneurs are usually the ones that are sort of like carry memories. So who was that for you guys?
Yo, man.
Oish. I don't know. I think I would say, because just recently I was listening to this person's music, but like Michael Jackson. Yeah, I feel like he's an icon though, like regardless. In terms of his music, yeah. I think that's something that will last forever, like forever, literally. I think he made that type of music where it's like, wherever you play it, any country, city, someone will know who he is. People will know his music. So I think for him, just because recently, just randomly, I started playing his music this week. So yeah, I reckon MJ for sure.
See, I'm weird, yeah. It's so funny. Like, as a child, I just never looked at, like, celebrities or, like, the GOATs in too tough of a way where, like, I don't know, like, that inspired me. But you ask me any cartoon or show that existed in childhood times, and I will tell you all of them.
That's what I mean, right? Like, it doesn't necessarily have to be a person. It can be, like, something that, I guess you made your personality when you were young. Yeah, like for me, like Pokemon was huge. Like in my life, like I could sit here talk 5 hours about Pokemon.
Yeah. That's
what cartoon was it for you?
Okay, all right. Now that's a question that we can.
Cartoon head, yeah.
What
You
Cartoon
love
Network,
cartoons.
Nickelodeon, Disney Channel? My goodness, that rotation there.
100%.
Boomerang even.
You lived in the Middle East, so Space Tunes. You remember that?
Space NBC3.
Yep. There we go. So that was my rotation.
Some new cartoons that I need to tap into, huh?
Okay. Shout out Captain Mejid.
Someone finally said it, bro. This is
Shout
what I
out
brought up.
Captain Mejid.
I brought this up on last week's episode.
Yeah.
And then it's bro. Okay, so he has a Japanese name. It's Captain Tsubasa. And in my mind,
I'm not rocking with
That's
that.
measured, bro.
I refuse to acknowledge him by his sushi name.
That's
he
measured.
looked Asian, everything. In my mind, I was like, this is an Arabic boy. This is magic. Bro,
It's crazy, man.
My
Like,
bed sheets were Captain.
Yeah. Like this guy would be the only guy that kick a goal, and you wouldn't know if it went in till the next episode. Like one of those ones, man.
Oh my
Go in
days.
this stadium and the next stadium.
100%.
Comes back around, goes again.
Yep.
Right.
Love it.
What a time, bro. What a time.
What a time to be alive. So what cartoon was it for you?
Codename Kids Next
cartoons?
Door. Codename Kids Next Door was a strong cartoon for me.
There we
Let me see, man. I don't know when Avatar came out, but I can remember that from early years. Yo, what? Oh my days. I remember forcing my parents to leave one of their friends' like birthday parties or something because this was the second last episode of Avatar ever. On that night, it was 6:30.
And that was the days where you don't get to pick. Like, if it runs now, we have to watch now. There's no
Rerun.
I don't even think Foxtel IQ was out yet where you could like record it or set it. It's like, yo, mom, dad, like, guys. Yo, Susan's Comet is coming tonight on Avatar. This is part 2. I need to find out if he defeats this guy, bro. Like, we need to leave.
This is a funeral. I'm gonna die.
Force them to leave, but I think watching Avatar last time, I can think about that, but I'm like, when did that start? Because that's not as early as, some of these other, but I don't know, man. Cartoons, I think I was very, very inspired from a lot of this kind of stuff instead, I'd say, man. But they take me back. Yeah, they take me back to good memories, man. But Codename Kids Next Door was one of the first one that I can think of. That
You guys have a meal that's like that takes you back, like a food or something?
I have to say food, man.
This guy said food.
Full.
You enjoy some food?
Yeah. Pardon?
Do you know? Yeah, you enjoy food, or do you know it?
Yeah, I mean.
No,
Thank you.
oh!
Thank you.
No, I like it. I don't mind it, but it's not like my
Go-to.
preferred choice of
It's-
food, man.
These guys call me such a hater.
I feel like with full, if you don't eat it fresh,
Yeah, it has,
Yeah,
to,
yeah,
it
go,
has to
right?
be fresh.
Yeah.
it has to be
The
fresh.
bread has to be
the
fresh
bread has to
too.
be fresh
The
as
bread
well.
is
Yes.
really important.
Yeah.
Yes.
But see, the difference is he's not saying he doesn't like it.
Yeah,
He's
but
I'm saying I'm not like.
He says he likes it.
He didn't want to offend anybody, man.
Nah, I'm a massive like lentils fan.
Okay.
Full mudammas. Like you're talking like that
Yeah.
like hearty type
Hearty,
food.
yeah.
But the gas after is next level, man.
Deadly.
Yeah,
You got to make a decision to be like, I'm willing for that. I'm willing to
Yeah.
take that, man.
Of course, man. It's a give or take. But one food that takes me back was pizza. I'm not a fan of pizza.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm probably like one of the only people in Australia. So my dad used to work
At that shop, yeah.
at a pizza shop.
Yeah.
No. So even like when we were younger, he's always like worked in Italian restaurants.
Yeah.
Bro, this guy from year 7 to year 10 or 11,
Lunchbox was stacked with it, huh?
lunchbox. This guy would work 6 days a week. Shout out to my dad. Every night, bring a pizza and I'd eat it. So imagine, how many days are there in a year? 350? 350 days, times that by like 5-6 years. Every single night, I ate pizza.
Jeez.
So now when it comes to eating pizza, it's like full. I'm like, I prefer not to.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's like one food that I'm just man.
Pizza could do it. But it takes you back to some good memories of childhood.
100%, man. You know, like growing up playing video games, played, World of Warcraft, RuneScape, Counter Strike,
Story.
Habit Hotel, everything. I played a lot. Yeah, good times.
Man. It's them type of thing. But a food, man. All right, I'm interested in this.
Yeah.
It was fairy bread at one point. Because that brought me back to all them primary school parties, bro.
Fairy
That's not a
bread.
food, it's a snack.
Hey, this is
Hold
a
on now.
childish human.
I can feel a crunch.
And cartoons.
Daddy's living a different
Hold
life,
on.
bro.
I'm not going to go and make myself some fairy bread. I don't remember the last time I had any, yeah?
Okay.
But if I see that, I instantly think about,
slaps.
yo, the teacher said, you know what, we're having a good time
Yeah.
today. It's the end of term. Here's some fairy bread.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or you're at a,
Primary school, yes, I agree,
You know, that you're at a friend's birthday party. It's not going off unless there's fairy bread there. Of
course.
You know what I'm saying? So, you can take me back, man.
Fairy bread.
Funny.
Nah, that's so hilarious, bro.
What's your food,
I'm
Mom?
trying to think of mine. I don't think I have a food. No, it's not full. I love full though. I can eat it every day. Every day if I could.
And tamia.
Oh yeah, with
Yeah, that,
and
yeah.
some falafel on top. Yep, the whole lot. I was thinking mine would probably be. It's more of a snack as well, but like Sunny Boys.
Oh, the icy balls.
Sunny,
The icy-
yeah.
Oh, goodness
That one takes me
gracious.
back to
Especially
like
frozen.
primary
Yeah.
school, high
Frozen.
school. Yeah,
Ooh,
like
the
the.
triangle
I
joint.
didn't grow up here, so I
Oh.
don't know.
So sorry, brother.
They
We
yeah.
had them.
Those
man.
were great.
Called
The
them.
Sunny
Sunny
Boys.
Boys.
They're like in a triangle type of shape. Like they sold them in school, primary school, high school.
It's a block of ice.
Yeah,
When
but
you
like
deep it now,
I mean, yeah,
sugar.
pretty
the
much.
Yeah.
flavor's gone,
Yeah.
but you're still committed to
you
finishing
still
the rest
you
of the
still
block
finish
of
it. You
ice.
still finish it.
Refreshing.
But yeah, I
I
remember
think
just
no one's ever had one like not frozen.
no, literally.
Yeah,
Literally.
nah,
Because is
nah.
it meant to be a juice? Or is
If
it meant to be
then
like
It just
frozen?
melts all the way
that's
up. to the
diabetes,
Sunny
man.
Boys.
Yeah,
Good,
Sunny
huh?
Boys are
That makes sense.
good.
Yeah,
Drinking
nice.
it like that's strong sugar, right? That can't be
It
goofy.
is.
I think having it as an icy pole feels healthier. I don't know what it
Very
is.
sweet.
like
Yeah, it's
that,
very,
yeah.
very sweet.
Oh,
But yeah.
man, this one. Yeah, I forgot about that, man.
Good.
That's
Good
what
What
choices.
about-
Mine is bamia.
Bamia.
Yeah,
heck is
bamia is okra.
Okay.
Oh, okay, right.
That,
Like,
that took me by surprise.
That
I'm not
dish
gonna lie,
represents
bro.
love to me.
Mm.
Yeah. Don't laugh.
Oh, sorry.
The
This
one
is
time
your
I got to
story.
meet my mom's mom.
Aw.
Like we spent like a month with them in Iraq.
Yeah.
And,
Mum's mum.
Yeah, so my grandma on my mom's side. Yeah.
What'd you call her? Your mum's mum, bro.
His dad's mom too.
Anyways, yeah.
Grandma.
But that like I remember I would have been 4 or something, and I think I was like hungry in the middle of the night or something, and she just got up for me and cooked bamia, and like
You just pull out like the big pots
they
and
just have stuff ready. They just did 2 kitchens in the house for no reason.
yeah.
Like it's just one of those.
this is
things.
overseas or
Was it
here?
in Iraq?
In Iraq,
Yeah,
yeah. So is it like, because in Morocco they've got like gas bottle stoves, like it's not.
Yeah.
Yeah, like one of them
yeah,
ones.
Yeah,
It's-
exactly.
She's
Yeah.
there. Yeah, all right, cool.
And so
Just trying to get the picture.
yeah.
You gotta set in the story properly. Yeah.
And that's like for me that like because I think for her it was a thing of like I've never met this kid and I want him to just love me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
And so it's like at I don't know, it must have been like 11 p.m. or something because I've woken up from my sleep and I'm hungry. Yeah, but it's like I would have slept like 9 or something. And she just got up and made it for me. And then like ever since then it's like my mom, whenever she makes it, like my mom has been conditioned from that moment to think that I love this dish more than anything in the world.
Yeah.
And it's like there was a period of my life where I was like I stopped liking it, now I love it again.
Yeah.
Right. And it's like that food just represents like love to me. It's like an okra stew. It's
I
amazing.
love it.
Nice. So you like how it
Yeah.
tastes?
Love.
I love how it tastes. You don't like
And
it?
the memories.
For me, it's like 5 out of 10 kind of thing.
Goodness.
Bro, that's what you think about his love.
That's my whole, you think my life is mid.
Well, you don't like food, and I love
Well,
food, right?
Yeah, true.
See?
Fair play.
It's kind of wild how food does that, though, man. Takes you back to these
Takes
memories.
you
Because,
back.
like, now that we're talking, I'm actually starting to reminisce on some actual certain, like, snacks. We have this thing in Nigeria called, like, I don't know if it's I don't even know if it's only Nigerian, but a Scotch egg, which is egg wrapped in meat. breadcrumbs,
Bro,
fried.
it's literally Scottish. It's called Scotch egg.
Hey,
It's called
let
Scotch
me
egg, bro.
enjoy this memory.
They took it and ran with it.
No jollof, no nothing. Man.
Yeah, no, I was gonna go for a baked jollof. I'm like, nah. But if I think about like, I think I had it at one of my auntie's house first, right? I was like, bro, what is this concoction, bro? My mom went and made that. My goodness,
Bro, your mom makes a phenomenal Scotch egg.
Yo,
She does.
lie?
She does.
My mom tried it one time. I told her, don't do this.
For Danny's mom.
bro, you can't. I've never had a bad day when there's been Scotch egg around, man. I'm telling you, man. I can think about like when, like my sister and I would help my mom make it. She'd fry it. We'd sit up. I remember we used to not be allowed to eat in the lounge. So, but we'd want to watch the cartoons, bro.
Yeah.
So we put the cartoons on, flip the TV around. We put a little mat outside the lounge. We sit down on the floor, watching the TV, munching the Scotch egg, watching the cartoon. I'm like, yo, there, it takes me back in them kind of days. But it's wild that, yeah, food does ultimately hold a lot of these kind of like
Brings people together,
Yeah.
man.
things, man. Yeah,
Brings people
Yeah,
together.
it really does.
That's why, like, the most popular TV shows are usually like food shows. Yeah,
Yeah.
food shows,
Yeah.
cooking shows.
You know what it is as well? It's like it's not divisive in that like it's not like religion or sports or whatever where people have like beef over it, you know? Whereas like food is like
Brings people together.
Brings
Yeah,
people
yeah.
together, yeah.
Brings
does.
people together, and I
Yeah.
think like also like opens up that interest for like, oh my god, this is what Nigerian food looks like. This
Yeah.
is what Iraqi food looks like. Yeah.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
I'm interested now as selfishly to jump into some of this family side. Anytime I get the opportunity to hear about kids, married life, I'm just taking all the knowledge I can, yeah?
Of
For
course.
context, this guy's getting married.
You know, brother, we spoke about it.
while you were
All right, while you're doing missions, we spoke about this.
Yeah, that's how he knows. I don't know why he's actually surprised then. You know? He's like, wow, getting married, huh?
But you said that a lot of those life changes happened between that gap, that 8-year gap. Why do you think that was the point in time when that could have happened? Like, do you think, you know, let's say you took the gap and you got back into things, would you have been able to see yourself starting up these type of, you know, big life changes of getting married, having kids, whilst you're doing all the content and stuff, or was that gap required and needed? And also, how much of a change in your life was that, you know?
So to answer firstly, I think it could only happen in that gap because sometimes you got to learn who you are. And learning who you are isn't just about what you want. It's also about what you don't want, right? Because when you're 18, 19, or like when you're a teenager, you just, oh yeah, I want a girl like this and I want a girl like that. But you don't ever say like, oh, I don't want this.
Yeah.
So there was like a bit of, you know, like a phase there where I was like, all right, cool. You know, what are things that I see myself doing for the rest of my life? You know, are we compatible? Are we this? Are we that? And, you know, like, cool. I think what we spoke about earlier on, like with religion.
Yeah.
Cool. You know, this has got to be compatible if, you know, we're the same religion, ideal. You know, if we're the same nationality, also ideal. But however, being Moroccan in Australia, that's impossible.
Yeah.
There's a collective of 5 of us in this country.
And they're all in my family.
Yeah, exactly, man. And then, and I was just like, all right, cool. I know what I don't want because what I dated when I was younger, like 16, 17, if you call those dates, whatever, like
Experiences.
the experiences, the people you meet, you're like, oh, actually, like this isn't what I want, you know, or it's usually like what you think you want. Oh man, it'd be ideal to have this and, you know, have that. Then you get into it and you're like, actually, no, I don't want any of this. And then, like because not a lot was going on, I had time to think for myself and what I wanted and everything like that. However, who's not to say that, you know, whilst I was doing it all, I could have met the one and everything. Everything happens for a reason. You know, without that break, I don't meet my wife. Without that break, I don't have my daughters.
Yeah.
Without that break, I don't have Maccas for breakfast with my daughters this morning. So, I guess, are you guys a fan of The Flash?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's on Justice League was another cartoon, guys. that I was in love
Just
with.
watched it, yeah.
Yeah, so you know how he like goes back in time, he
Yeah.
just like moves a pebble and it changes everything.
Yeah.
That's the way I look at it.
Right.
I'm like, you know, if that one thing didn't happen,
Yeah.
none of this, we wouldn't even be sitting in this room,
Literally.
It's crazy.
right? So that's me with marriage.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
how...
Have you guys watched The Flash?
No, not yet.
Not
You
yet.
guys have no clue what he just said.
Nah. I mean,
No, but it makes sense though. It makes sense.
The
Yeah.
concept.
He goes back in time.
Yeah.
No, when
This guy thought he
When you
cracked
watch
the code
it,
or
you know
something.
exactly.
Isn't that called butterfly effect or something like that? Or am I
Yeah.
thinking something else?
Yeah.
That was one.
Is it?
Thing
Oh,
that
yeah.
happens.
So I'm thinking of...
Yeah.
I thought you were trying to talk about Mandela effect, bro.
That's the one. We
Well, yes.
Now Mandela effect, yeah.
All these theories and effects.
But yeah, right. And how much of a life change was that? You know what I mean? Like, and I guess what did you have to learn within yourself in order to be able to become a husband for someone? You know?
So that's a really good question. So at the at the start, dapping himself up.
Like, yeah.
Go me. Get that dust off his shoulder. What was I gonna say? Nah, I think so. Obviously, the first part is, hey, what don't I want? What do I want? What's gonna work? And moving forward, bringing kids or people into this world. What do I want them to see as well? The first thing that I learned is you really don't know someone until you live with them. So, like at the start, people think, oh, I got to see my girlfriend or my boyfriend 5 times a week and I know them, they're the best and everything. But you don't know someone until you've been through good times and also bad times. Like everyone just sees, the glory now, or like, oh man, you're doing well. Your wife is this, your wife is that, and you're this, you're that. And it's like, bro, you don't see in the 6-year relationship of like the ups and downs we've gone through. Yeah. So, you've really got to go through all that to really know someone. I've also learned, like, my wife is super generous, super loving, super caring. Whilst I think, because when I was like in that YouTube phase and also like post YouTube, I think I just like received so much love that I was just like, oh, bro, I don't need to give love. Like, I'm just going to get it anyway. Right? So I just really had to like relearn those patterns of like, hey, no, like, when you leave a room, make sure you message, hey, man, it was nice to meet you today. Yeah, or, before you leave, ask your mum, like, does she need something? Yeah. Just stuff like that. And, also, any opportunity you get to give, like whether it's to make someone happy or give something away or do something, do it.
Take the opportunity.
Because, take the opportunity because you really never know, like, their prayer could be answered through you. Yeah. Someone could be having the worst day. And all that's why, like, anytime someone now recognize me, I'll make sure I give them a thumbs up or a smile, because like they could be having the worst day, and then like maybe me just acknowledging them, acknowledging me, could like make their day. So, just like learning love and care, man, and that made me a better husband and a better father as well.
It's pretty dope, man. It's interesting that you mentioned about like her being super like generous and caring, and that teaching you a lot. Because Ma will always say to me, oh, I taught you how to interact and love your sisters and all that.
It's so true.
100%.
I always tell myself, yo, I've been a guy that's had 3 younger sisters. At one point, we had like 6 women in the house. Me and my dad and 6 women posted up, auntie, grandma, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, and I'm like, oh, bro, I know how to interact with women and all this. Like, I'm comfortable with this. I'm very caring, and it's so funny how seeing how Mawa is and as a person and learning how to love her. It's like it changed how I even now view my sisters and things like that. And even my mom, she's like, yo, I helped you fix your relationship with your mom, all this kind of. I'm like, oh, get out of here, man. You're just chatting. You're just trying to big yourself up. But it's crazy how someone actually can do that for you just through who they are in that kind of a way. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
sometimes you just got to let the walls down and be like, have that white belt mentality. Like, I'm open to learning, and then the lessons will come, whether that's through good or bad. Yeah. And, lucky me, I met my beautiful wife, let the walls down, and she's just flooded the gates, man. And here I am here.
What was it about your wife specifically where you were like, yeah, this is the woman that I want to make my wife?
So I think like our first date, like just to sort of give you guys a bit of context, like I met her here, Glen Waverley. My first time ever in Glen Waverley in history. And like, I just heard about a dessert place, Piatella.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone's hitting and hollering, man.
Bro, the amount of first dates that have happened
Lucky mine ended up in a marriage.
We love it.
What was I going to say? Yeah, like I went there, like we met up and like we started talking. She was so like the whole date went for like 2 hours. She probably said collectively like 6 words, man. And like I'm there talking. I even went to the effort. Like the waiter came, is like, do you guys need anything else? I'm like, actually, it's her birthday. It wasn't even her birthday. It's my first time meeting her. Like just to like, get her like to, open up and everything. And he's like, oh, happy birthday. And she's like, oh, thank you. No, but it's not my birthday. And like she went all funny and everything. Like just to make her laugh and like bring joy. And then like I remember like we walked to the car park and I dropped her off at home and I went. And like I remember she's like, oh, please message me like when you get home. I'm like, yeah, no worries. As soon as she slammed that door shut, I'm like, bro, I'm never speaking to that girl ever again, man. Like I said, collectively 6 words. As she wants a message, call the boys. I'm like, bro, is the Premier League on? They're like, yeah. I'm like, sweet, I'm coming back. I'm coming. We're watching Arsenal versus Newcastle. Anyways, Bro, she messages me. She's like, "Did you get home?" Bro, I saw the message. I'm like, "Yeah, well, whatever, man."
Arsenal's down 4-0, bro.
Yeah, man. And I was like, "Bro, I'm a neutral, man. I'm a Manchester City fan. I still want to I just wanted to like, I needed
something good tonight.
I needed some testosterone,
Yeah.
man. Anyways, and then she's like, she contacts me again. She's like, "Oh, you never messaged. Like, are you all right? Are you everything?" I'm like, "Man, like, she actually cares."
Yeah.
And then I'm like, "Look, like, no disrespect.
This is crazy.
You said 6 words collectively the
Yeah.
whole
You've
day.
texted
Like,
me more words
yeah,
than you spoke on
exactly. I'm like, man, I'm not interested in like
Yeah.
even as a friend.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not interested in having a friend that's only
yeah.
gonna like, oh yeah,
say
let's
much.
go have a coffee and
Yeah.
not say much and just me spill, like whatever I've got, open my heart. And she's like,
crazy,
"Oh, I'm
yeah.
sorry, I'll make it up to you." I'm like, please, let's go on a second date. Like, my shout, yada yada. I'm like, you know what?
That's dope.
I'm like, I made the effort to come to your side of town. I'm like, you're coming up to the north. She's like, yeah, no worries, I'll come up.
That's dope, yeah.
And then after like going back and forth, the more I got to know her, the more I'm like, all right, cool. Like, man, this is actually a top chick. And then I met her mum for the first time. And then you don't know someone until you really meet their family, yeah? Because a lot of things start to make sense,
Yeah.
good and bad. Because you're like, oh, that's why they're like that.
Yeah.
And, I met her mum and I was like, all right, cool. This is a really great family. Because when you marry someone, you marry their family as well.
100%.
And that's when I was like, all right, cool. Top girl, top family. And the more I got to know her, I'm like, cool. If I have daughters, it's like I spoke it into existence because I've got 2 daughters now. This is the woman I want them to look up to. And if I have sons, this is the type of woman I'd want them
To like
to
respect.
be with.
and be-
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
So,
Dang, man.
That's
Yeah.
very
yeah.
important. Yeah.
And I'm
It
just like, I was on the verge of prepping for a bodybuilding competition. And I just said to her, look, I'm dieting for the next 20 weeks. I'm like, if you're still around by the end of that 20 weeks, like,
We'll go to Piatella.
you're a keeper.
Yeah.
She's like, yeah, no worries. And then like the ups and downs of like bodybuilding and everything. And then we got towards the end. And yeah, the rest is history.
Wow.
Do
Then-
you choose to keep them out of content, or like the content you produce? Like, do you keep your family out of it?
I don't, man, there's so many times where I'm like, oh, we should do something. Or like people are like, oh, you should do those couples Q&A or like whatever. And I've said it. And she's just like, nah, I'd rather just be
Yeah, fair.
in the behind the scenes and sort of like, emails or,
Oh,
if there's
sick,
any
yeah.
sort of like ideas, she'll just pitch them to me and
That's
be like,
cool.
hey, this is an awesome idea. Why don't you speak about this? Sometimes like, or not sometimes, every single video I make, I'll make it, I'll send it to her. And she's like the second filter to be like, all right, cool. No, that's funny. Or, hey, like, I remember I made like one video and I said the word fat. But I didn't mean it in the context like insulting someone. I just said it like, oh, like I'm fat or something like that. And she's like, take it out.
Yeah.
She's like, trust me, you're going to rub someone the wrong way with that.
yeah.
And like just those small little intricate
Wisdom.
things that I
You
didn't
need that,
realize.
yeah.
And I'm just like, all right, cool, that's what I need. And that's why I give full credit to her for everything that I
That's
do.
sick.
She's my second pair of eyes, man.
Yeah.
Creative director, everything. So yeah, started from Piatella
Yeah. Right.
and now she's
Now
running
you're
the
here.
show, man.
That's
I love
crazy.
it.
Yeah. That's madness, man.
That's very cool.
I'm even laughing about the because the meeting a mum can make or break. Yo, that one there. If you meet someone like prospective person and you're like, yo, that family was dead.
No.
That can really shut down the whole operation.
Yeah.
finish.
Person can be amazing,
Guys,
but that factor
The
there.
family.
Bro, you're driving home like, bro, I really got to think about this relationship.
You know what I
Of
mean?
course, man.
Reconsider.
Not her,
Yeah.
the whole
Oh,
relationship, bro.
Pretty much,
Crazy,
man.
man.
Like I remember my friend, well, none of us are Aussie, right? He's Arab, and he was like one of those Arabs that was like, bro, I'll never marry my own kind. I want to like white, Australian, blonde hair, blue eyes. No worries, bro. Like everyone has their preferences. Go do
They
that.
don't want you, brother.
Yeah, exactly, man. This is why your mum's telling you to marry Khadija, not Jessica, yeah? You're going to learn the hard way. And he was dating this Aussie chick, lovely girl, like absolutely nothing wrong with her, and who knows where she is now.
Yeah.
Everything was awesome.
She's at
Everything was
Piatella
sweet.
waiting for a date.
Yeah, probably still at Piatella. Lovely girl and everything. And, he's telling us about her. She's coming to kick it with us, like, as in, like, a couple of boys, him, her, and her friend. Lovely. 3-4 months in, she's like, oh, we're going to have, like, a dinner at our house.
Yeah.
Like, come over. And he's like, look, I don't know, it's a bit too soon. And he's like, you know what, bro? Like, I've got nothing to lose. Like, she's a top chick. I'm like, bro, just go, entertain it.
Yeah.
He walks in. the mum starts swearing her head off. Oh, you effing
No
this, you effing
way.
that. Where's this? She is going off at the father.
Yeah. Oh, right.
Yeah, like they're
okay.
getting dinner ready.
Yeah.
And mind you, that's like a perfectly normal conversation.
dynamic.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a normal conversation.
Oh, hey,
Like,
Jack.
yeah, like, no, just like she kept continuing on,
Yeah.
and he's walking in, and it's just like, what the hell? And then he's about to take off his shoes. She's like, oh no, what are you doing? And then he's like, what do you mean? Like, I'm walking into your house, gotta take off my shoes. And then the mum comes out, nah, dog, you don't have to take off your shoes. And then continues on swearing at the husband. And the husband is like sweating in the kitchen and like, everything together. And he's just like, nah. Like, I don't think.
It's too much.
Yeah, he ended up like,
I'm gonna go back into the lawn. I'll be back.
pretty much, yeah. I gotta walk my pet fish or something.
Did you say for dinner? You know?
So he stayed for dinner, and then like
Never
he
went
left.
back.
He met up with the boys, and it's just like, I gotta tell her it's me and not her.
Hey, guys, is Man City playing?
Oh, how'd you go? Oh, yeah, just put on the game. And then it's just like, he just said to her, I'm like, it's me, it's not you.
yeah.
It's just like,
yeah.
he just deflected everything and just
Yeah,
like, it's me, it's not you.
It can do a lot, man.
But you gotta like think about that. Like that's gonna be your child's grandparent,
Exactly.
and they're just
And they swear.
cussing up a storm.
Yeah.
Your kid comes back to you saying F's and B's and
Oh, Jack, where's the
and
That's it, man. You marry someone, you marry their family, and you know you got to make sure. And that's probably another thing. Like, if there's any advice for anyone that's single and in the dating pool at the moment,
Yeah.
wait till you meet their family before you make any big decisions.
That's a big part of it, man, for sure.
It is.
What about all right, I'm setting the scene, right? So, sorry, I'm gonna do it. You're back at Pieta, yeah? You're there. She said 3 out of the 6 words by now, and you haven't yet just said it's her birthday or anything like that. Did she know anything about your social media experience and you being Mr. Teddy at the time and all that beforehand? You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
So her and her sister used to watch me when they were younger.
Yeah.
So obviously there was probably like that, and she probably credits a bit of her nervousness to that. She's like, you used to used to make videos. Like, I don't know if you're sort of just taking me for a run. Like, just another girl type thing.
Yeah.
It's like, mind you, it's been like 4 years of not making videos. So it's like when someone calls me Teddy, I'm just like, yeah, man, I used to make YouTube videos, man. Just call me Rashid.
Yeah.
So she sort of had that in the back of her mind. So she reckons it was a bit of that, but I just reckon like I was just oversharing and just being like, just being a clown, man. I was just having a laugh and everything. And honestly, I didn't think anything of as a date or anything. I just thought like, you know what, cool chick. We've we've exchanged messages for a few days. I'm like, Piatella, like this girl told me about Piatella. She was like, because there's this place called Craven Crepes on our side of town.
Oh, okay,
Great crepes.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, if you really like crepes, you got to go Piatella. The only person I knew in this side of town was her. So I'm like, oh, two birds, one stone. I'll meet her. She's a
And
cool
I'll go
chick.
Piatella.
And I'll go Piatella. If she's a cool chick, I'll hang around.
Yeah.
If not, then like it
got
is
some
what
good
it is.
crepes,
Yeah,
man.
exactly. And I was like super focused on my training. So for me, it wasn't like, oh, I need a girl. It was just like, man, if you're cool, you're cool. Hang around with you, like because even like funny thing is, she's like, oh, you didn't kiss me goodbye, and I'm like, EPL is waiting for me, man. Like, no, I was just like, like I was that focused on improving myself and my health and everything that I wasn't even fazed by any of that.
It's interesting that you mentioned that you saw all of that stuff, as in the content creation, as playing about having a laugh, having rants, or whatever. Like, did you ever think that it, to some people, would taint your image in any kind of way? Like, were you ever confronted with that even sometimes? Like, people viewing you in some kind of a perception that wasn't necessarily who you were, but because of the content, maybe this is what they saw, and that's all they saw.
Definitely. So what had happened was, Nora would be very familiar of how much swearing I used to do on YouTube. My videos were probably like 50% swearing, and the other 50% of actual like just funny content. But for kids, the swearing carried it.
hilarious.
And for anyone over the age of 25, they thought the swearing took away from the funny content. So what happened was, a lot of that, anytime I go out on the street, people will reflect back upon me. So they'd repeat my lines to me, and I'll be like, oh,
Screws.
yeah, what the hell?
Hearing it from someone
Yeah,
else.
and so like the more people reflected my videos onto me, that's where I was like, all right, cool, this isn't probably really good. So that's why I'm like, now that I've come back, I don't swear in my videos. It only gets as bad as shit.
Yeah.
right? That's like, I'll keep it PG.
Yeah.
So like if anyone from the age, like my wife's nephews are like 10, 11, they watch it, nothing. Like you can watch it in front of my mother-in-law and, she watches some of my videos and she just laughs.
Yeah.
My mum pulls up a video, she laughs as well.
Yeah.
So, just try and keep it. So that's probably like the main thing I've kept in mind is like tone down the swearing completely. And also like when some of the stuff I spoke about as well in my first
Like
YouTube
topics,
radio,
right.
some topics, like you said, just certain topics that my parents were like, whoa,
Yeah.
why are you speaking about that?
Yeah.
How do you know? And I'm like,
Mom, I swear I've never talked to a girl.
I'm like,
It's for
I'm
content.
like,
I
I
watch
don't know,
movies.
man. Yeah, pretty much, man. It's fun. It's funny you say that. There was like a phase my dad thought I was gay. I was heavy into bodybuilding.
Oh.
Said you
My
love
dad
being around
walks-
men, huh?
My dad walks into the room. I'm watching a YouTube video of a bodybuilder
do this.
posing and going through his posing routine.
Yeah. You're copying
The whole,
I wasn't copying him, but I was so
Just
focused on it. My dad's like,
What's going on here?
gay? I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, man in G-string, muscle. Like, what the hell are you watching?
He heard you from your room. Mashallah, it's quad.
so focused on the screen.
Pretty much. He's like, you don't even focus on anything else like that.
Yeah.
You don't speak to girls, or at least that's what you're telling us. So I don't know.
Oh,
Do
gosh.
you have a favorite video?
Right now,
Yeah.
the best videos are always like coffee or gym, just because like I've worked in the fitness industry and I've been a barista.
Oh, yeah.
So those two are like,
The coffee
like
one
when I
is funny.
say, like when I say you can't change my mind,
Yeah.
bro, you actually can't. On those
Solid,
topics,
yeah.
like I know, like
Yeah.
that's like years of doing reps at a cafe. Like, bro, if I say like a cappuccino is an old person's drink, it's because I know. Yeah,
I've seen it.
Exactly,
Facts,
man.
That's the only thing my parents get.
Yeah, exactly, man. They're just
Same,
like the
bro.
froth. Oh, it keeps me nice
they
and
kill
warm. It's like if I made a video about alcohol, like white wine. Only girls drink it. Yeah, white wine. Yeah, like
Yeah, only girls drink it.
Girlies,
Yeah.
girls.
He's there with his bubbly. Oh, hi guys.
Man.
It's like,
Yeah, nah, same thing with like red wine, Shiraz,
Yeah.
old Arab men, man. Like, just Shiraz. Yeah,
That'd be you, boss.
That's my dad, bro.
yeah, exactly. Like they get to the thing, so VBs, Bogans. So it's just
Yeah, facts.
it's just facts. That's why you can't change my mind. So those are like my two.
those because when I watch them, I'm like, this is actually facts. Someone coming in and say, "Can I get a mocha with cream on top?" I was like, no, you just like dessert.
That's the reality, man.
That's the reality. It's like
Yeah.
talking about I want ice
Yeah,
mocha with
yeah.
this, add cream, add this. But no, okay, yeah, yeah. Because I was watching, I'm like, this is actually true. This is actually facts.
Yeah.
The gym one is actually pretty nice too.
I was gonna say, so you've worked, barista, bodybuilding, and you've done a few things in your life in terms of like motivation and like what inspires your content. What else is there? Because I know we previously had a comedian come on, and he was very heavy into politics, and so he would deep dive into politics. He would like stay on top of the latest news, and then that's where I think we were saying the other day, that's where his funniest content will come from. When he does, and that's because he has the knowledge, behind it. He does his research, he's up to date, and all that stuff. So in terms of that, do you have like any type of way that you source your content, or is it like you see something, you write it down, and then how do you do that?
Observational humor is my forte. Like that's my thing. If I open up my phone right now and you go through the notes app, it's just like random
bunch
notes
of
throughout the day. Something will happen,
Yeah.
and I'll just be like, this is literally like, I got to make a video about this.
Content goals.
And then exactly. And as ideas come along, I'm just like, you know what, this is gonna make for a good video, or it could be a seed for a good video. With the coffee video, I sat on that idea for 3 weeks, which never
wow.
happens. So imagine 3 weeks every day. I'm telling my wife I need to make a video about coffee, and she's like, "But yeah,
She's
but
like,
but,
this guy
but
quit
what
his
do you?"
job for this.
For this.
But she's like, but what are you gonna say? What about coffee? And I'm like, I don't know. I just gotta make a video about coffee. And she's like, yeah, I mean, she's like, so there's a concept that my wife and I come up with, and it's called half an idea.
Okay.
So every time, like someone will say something, it's half an idea because it's not, a full video idea until it's broken down into the sections of the video.
Yeah.
And that coffee video was half an idea for 3 weeks. And then what happened was, I'm like, man, I gotta really sit down and just think about it. And the way I come up with ideas, And then, man, this is so. This is gonna sound weird. I literally just do nothing. Do nothing and let the idea come to me. There's either that or whatever I think about the night before. I write it, sleep on it, then the next morning, whether I have a dream about it or whether something like just thoughts come, and I just go with the flow.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes God puts something in your head, and
Yeah,
it's, you know,
for
that's you know, if you think about something, chances are that's like really what you should be
Yeah.
doing, right?
Yeah.
You know, how many times like I used to work in an office job, but all I think about is training at the gym, and I'm like, I got to get out of here. You know, like I couldn't wait to just be in a gym. I'm like, man, I should just work in the fitness industry, and that's how I ended up working in the fitness industry with content. Like I said, I just do nothing. The ideas will come.
And it comes.
And then sometimes you go through dry spells,
Yeah.
and like that's just part of creativity. Like you're not always going to be creative, and you know there are times where I'm like, you know what, I'll start watching other people's content, sort of get some ideas. But what happens is, you sometimes it influences you a little too much, and then the trap that a lot of people get caught in is they'll emulate it, but it's just like a carbon copy of what it is. They don't even put their own spin on it. You know, there's like the book Still Like an Artist. You know, like musicians, even these days, man, like you want to talk about hip hop, like it's just samples of old songs.
Yeah, it's become a real trend.
Remix, yeah. Like even like Aussie hip hop is just like a couple of lines from like a classic hit, and then they'll just do their verses, and then, you know, it's a sample
And they
back
take it.
again and again and again.
Facts.
So you don't necessarily have to like reinvent the wheel.
Yeah.
Just gotta find the topic and deliver it my way, essentially.
Yep.
But finding it how to deliver it my way is usually the hard part, and that's what separates my videos from you know,
others,
someone
yeah.
else's. Because like even in the coffee space, there's this weird like 80-90% people that, oh man, your videos are funny. Then there's 10% it's like, nah, you bring a bad name to the coffee industry. Because like, you know, you should only people, you know, like that are like super like nerdy about coffee, that they're like, oh nah, like you bring a bad name.
You get
People
offended.
can enjoy coffee however they want. You don't actually understand, but they don't actually realize like, but understand.
Yeah.
It's like it'll be like an airplane engineer coming to you and telling you like technical details of a plane. Like you don't care. You just care about it flying, getting you to the A, from A to B.
Literally.
I'm not gonna sit there and be like, well, if you decompose a latte, technically it's not a latte because it's this, it's that, unless it has the froth. But I'm not gonna sit there and explain technicalities. I just gotta get
Punchy.
make it punchy, get the
Get it
point
out.
across.
Yeah.
That's it. You know, I guess like the way I see some of my videos like star signs. People attach themselves to a personality in videos. Oh my god, I drink mocha. Oh my god, yeah, you know what I mean?
You know what's crazy? Like that punchiness, even for us, all our clips that do well is the punchiness.
punchy,
yeah.
Right? And I've actually never told these guys. So the wake up call that we do, there was two people that inspired it. It was you and Charlemagne the God with the donkey of the day, right? And I was like, I was like, these two things, like whether it's your stuff that you do with the rants previously and all that, and the donkey of the day, I'm like, those two always do numbers since I was young, right? And I was like, surely if we try that, it has to
gonna
do
work,
something,
yeah.
right? And it's worked,
It
right?
has.
It's worked several times over. And it's like that punchiness and not going actually too much into depth, which is hard with the podcast platform because you're like, the whole idea is let's go into depth and these conversations.
Yeah.
But when you do that punchiness, like people instantly go, I want to know what you're saying. And then the other hack is talk about star signs and how much you hate them, and people get onto you.
That's it.
People get onto you. I love it.
Astrology tribe gets triggered very easily.
I'm angry because I'm Aquarius.
That's it.
I'm surprised I didn't see that in the star signs. They were going to comfort him or something. Man. It's not the reading. I don't know, man. Yeah, it's mad. You know, I'm interested though, man. I don't know how much you ever really speak on this, yeah? But that era of flavored milk.
Bro, that video is ingrained in my
Yes.
ingrained in
Cinnamon
my-
challenge. What's the other one? Ice
Yeah,
box.
Were you
Yep.
also running into the trains and just being a nuisance? Was that you?
Public
That
nuisance
wasn't you.
videos?
Nah, so I think I did like probably like one sector of it, like one section of it, like
Yeah.
probably one or two clips of it. But the original videos, nah.
Yeah.
So what happened was they were popping off on YouTube. I was popping off on YouTube.
Yeah.
And I'm like to him, bro, like if we can make a channel and just do challenges, there's something there.
Yeah.
And like I said, when God puts a thought in your head,
Yeah.
you just got to run with it.
Yeah.
Run with it. Trust your gut. They're like, all right, done. One of the brothers, gun editor, till today still does editing and videography,
Yeah, yeah.
absolute gun editor. Made him in charge of the editing. and the rest of the ideation, we just sort of like chipped in like whatever ideas we had. First one, I'm like, bro, cinnamon challenge. We'll just do that.
Yeah.
I've seen it on a few American videos. It's
Lunel,
done numbers.
That one. Do you remember the Lunel one?
Yeah.
Well, not Lunel.
No,
Glozell.
the
Glozell.
Yeah.
Glozell, the
Yeah.
green,
So I'm like, it's doing numbers. I'm like, but a group of boys haven't done it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, let's see. We did it. It did numbers. Second video, I think, or the third video was the milk challenge.
Yeah.
Now, the original challenge was just 3 liters milk.
Yeah.
And I said to him, everyone that's done it has thrown up. We got to put some color in the milk. Or something. And then they're like, what do you mean? And I'm like, bro, we'll just get food coloring because my mum loves baking, cooking. I'm like, let's just get food color and put it in the milk. And they're like, all right, sweet. So we get colors. They got like, I think 4 blue. And I'm like, no. Like, let's make it as colorful as possible. We'll get 4 different colors.
Yeah.
No worries. We get the colors. We're going to go to the same OG spot to record.
That weird, just looks
That
like an
brick
industrial
wall,
brick at the wall.
Yeah. So that was a doctor's car park. Anyways, and I said to him, like,
Makes
nah,
sense.
because we're going to vomit. We're going to vomit.
Colourful
Like,
milk.
colourful milk. We need to go somewhere colourful. They're like, bro, where are we going to record? I'm like, bro, we're going to go Burke Street. We're going to go into that lane.
Ah,
No
yes.
way. How are we going to get there? None of us have our license. Catch the
How
train.
young people were, bro.
Exactly.
Oh, because I remember the video on the train.
So 6 of us carrying 3 liters milk each, food colour,
On the train.
TitanIC, bro.
right into Flinders Street, walk to Burke Street or Melbourne Central, get to the alleyway, and then start drinking. The first 2-3 boys vomit. Who's left? Me and Bo. And then, yeah, man, we just started throwing up. And then obviously, like, it was super colourful.
Yeah.
So I'm like, man, this is going to hit. And then 24 hours later, 1 million views in the first 24 hours.
Back
So-
that time, 1 million views in a
Yeah,
day.
that's massive.
It's not normal, man. Like, to make it on the front page of YouTube back then was 10,000 views. If you can get 10,000 views, you make it on the front page of YouTube and you're staying there for a week.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. That's how, like,
You guys
minimal
did
the
it for 4
content
years
was.
of that one video. That's crazy.
YouTube was just different back then, man.
Definitely very different. And then, yeah, it's like as that shifted, like obviously that was crazy. But the more videos we started doing together, started to get to a point where like they were just doing challenges for the sake of let's see how outrageous we can get.
Yeah.
I'm a man of principle. I'm not gonna humiliate myself by eating raw liver, raw kidney. No, bro. I'm not about that life. I'd love to get views, but not that
But
way.
Not that way, yeah.
And that's how sort of like just drifted.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
you know, they went on to do their things. You know, here's some good stuff, some bad stuff. But, you know, like, honestly, there's no bad blood or anything. Whatever I've said, I've said. And that's how I felt at the time. But for me, you know, best of luck to them. You know,
Yeah.
whatever they're doing with their life, good or bad, that's between them and the man above.
Yeah.
Man, because in my mind, it's very unclear of how long that era was. All I know is it existed and it was
Yeah.
a time. You know what I
Yes.
mean?
Like,
But
I'm realizing
It was
2.5
a very,
years.
very,
is such
very
a,
nice 3 months
Really?
with them, working with
What?
them. Yeah.
I'm
Because
telling
like
you,
what
man,
happened,
that
yeah,
felt
what happened was,
ages.
yeah, they were like, because you gotta remember, like back then, when all you're doing is going to school, right? You can afford to put out 2-3 videos a week, right? And you come up after school, watch it, go back to school the next day. Everyone's talking about it.
Yeah.
So you know, that's why it just feels like, you know, an eternity. Yeah, an
Yeah,
eternity.
a long
But
time.
really, it was just like, you know, 3 months, and they were just like kids mucking around. I said to them, like, if you actually make a funny video, I'll help you guys. And they made the train one, and I'm like, yeah, man, it's not my thing.
yeah,
Yeah.
that
But,
put
you know,
me off them. I was like, you guys are annoying.
Yeah, but see, like, it's not my thing.
yeah.
But I can see like the market sort of soaking this up.
for it,
Yeah,
People ate that up.
exactly. They
did.
ate that up,
They
and you know, like, and they ran with it and did super well. And you know, like whether I have eye for content or whether I don't, it's just like something that I saw and I saw the potential, and I'm like, man, you guys will smash it. And then you know, you go down a path, and you know, like I said, it gets to a point when you're making content where you're like, all right, now I just got to become outrageous or do outrageous things to, you know, to get views.
Maintain
Yeah,
this, yeah.
but not even maintain. Like, if you're happy with just maintaining a certain amount of views, you'll be all right.
Yeah, for sure.
But when you're in a growth mindset,
Yeah.
you're just like, so what's the next craziest thing I can do?
Yeah.
And then boom, you know, that's how you end up doing something a little too wild.
Yeah.
and it backfires usually.
You get
Yeah,
cancelled.
it
Yeah,
does.
Yeah, well, like nowadays you get cancelled, or
Yeah.
back
Yeah,
then
100%.
people just unsubscribe and just never watch you
The
ever again.
dislike count, even.
Yeah.
Used to have
It's
that
like,
show,
I don't like this.
Yeah,
that red
That's
bar
it.
was too much.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
it,
man.
yeah.
There's definitely not as much grace these days in terms of cancellation. If people don't like what they see, you're going to get cancelled straight away. Where I feel like back then there was a lot more like, oh, you did this crazy video, haha, we're not going to watch it, but we'll watch the next one.
Yep.
Whereas now it's like you say something outlandish. It's like, yeah, we're
Like a woman
cancelling
is a
you.
woman, I don't know.
Oh, what?
Yeah, oh, this.
Wait.
Why are you doing this to us, man? This is crazy, man. I'm running down the time.
Yeah, but you say something outlandish, especially like with TikTok and stuff, and you see all the hate comments come up, and then people just report your page, and then you're gone. And then no one hears from you again. So I feel like, yeah, the times have definitely changed in terms of what people allow to slip online and what they don't. Do you ever get worried about that, like with what you put out? No?
Nah, I don't stress too much about it because like if that plays in the back of your mind, then you're probably doing the wrong thing.
That's facts.
So like the way I look at it is, you know, if like four guys here, you know, if or whoever's in a relationship or whoever isn't, if you know you can't control a guy talking to you, but if you're entertaining a conversation and you're thinking like, oh, is this a bit too much?
Yeah.
Then it probably is.
It probably, yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
Like I said, it just goes back to I guess the common thing is like if a thought is put into your head, it's 100% for a reason.
Yeah.
You got to trust yourself, trust your instincts, and if you think it's wrong, high chances it is wrong. And that's why, like before I put out any video, there's always that filter. Lucky for me, it's my wife,
Yep, yep.
Yeah.
but it's also me having to be a bit more conservative, and also realize that, you know, especially in an era that we live in, there's a lot of representation, and there's good and bad in all our communities. It doesn't matter what national you are, there's good and bad. And, you know, I'm just trying to fight the good fight of just being a good content creator that's family friendly. That doesn't matter what nationality you are, where you come from, you're just enjoying my content. I'm bringing people together, and that's it. Because there's already enough, as you can see probably on TikTok, of bad out there that makes the community look bad, that makes your nationality look bad, that makes an area look bad, or even like a city you're from bad. Like people like, you know.
For sure.
Definitely. How adventurous do you think all of you guys are?
I'm scared for where this is
Adventures
going,
in
bro.
terms of
I'm worried.
That's a scary question to
man.
Like,
ask.
'cause we were talking beforehand. Like
eating.
Teddy was saying, like you love traveling.
Yeah.
Yep. I love traveling.
Can't get enough of it, man.
Can't get enough of it. When it comes to food, I feel like I'm pretty adventurous. You don't feel like you're too adventurous, Moa? Fair enough.
No.
What about when it comes to like the extremes? So I'm one of those people like I will never bungee jump. I will never skydive. Just can't get me to do it. Right?
Yep.
Where do you guys sit when it comes to the extremes of adventuring?
Man, I'm a 3 out of 10 for the extremes, man.
3 out of
I
10.
don't really do the extremes like that. I don't know if I'll try it. I don't know. I'm not too keen for it. I don't know.
See, I would. The one thing that's crazy that I would potentially do, I just don't have the money for it, is to go to space. Like I'd be down.
Okay.
I feel like I don't know why. I just like
that's
I'd
extreme.
love to see.
That's
very
Going to
it's
space.
pretty extreme. Like you're not.
That's
You're
on
not
par
on
with the
Earth.
submarine, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
Literally, that's on par with
That
the
was gonna be my
submarine.
next question.
All
Yeah.
right.
I do
Because
it.
yeah, I'm like I don't know. I
Space.
feel like it'll just something just would switch in your mind of seeing Earth, the place where all the problems that have ever happened,
Yeah.
All of
Seeing
it.
it from
all
a
of
mile.
it, all of it has been here,
Every good and bad person is right there.
right
Yeah,
there.
That's crazy.
Like seeing it from that perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I don't know. Like that
I'm
could
sure
change
that
something.
would do something in your like spirit about
That's what I'm
like
saying.
life.
Exactly,
you know?
bro.
Like just you and God, like just going like bro, everything you made is
Right
there,
here.
and like all my problems are there, and it's like this is not that big.
That's what I'm saying, man.
Yeah.
You know when you can't clock something sometimes? Like you guys are talking about space and I'm trying to tell my mind like that's a wild thing to do, to go into space. But my mind is like, oh, it's space. I'm trying to like tell myself space, like that's
It's
wild.
not
I'm
here.
seeing Earth from a different it's just not clocking.
Okay, so because that's what I was trying to go with the adventurous thing. Would you guys go underwater submarine all the way down? To
I'm not now.
I've always been scared of
I'm
Deep,
scared.
deep,
I'm
deep
not gonna lie,
waters.
We've
deep,
semi
I'm
done one, like my
scared.
family we have actually, on a holiday once. Just look at me like that. So it was one of those where it ain't submarine like that.
Okay.
But like the boat is submerged. I don't know how to say it. I don't know how to
That's a
describe.
submarine, yeah.
Kind of, yeah. But
But you're in the safe zone still.
Yeah, you're in it.
You're
You're
in the
not.
safe
Yeah, there's
zone.
no. I don't think the pressure was anything
yeah,
crazy like
yeah.
that. But yeah, I've always wanted to scuba dive. Yeah, but I'm not going to Titanic depths, bro. Like that's madness, man. Obviously, you can't scuba dive down there, but to venture down there, submarine vibes like that's
Wild.
oh man. I mean, you see what happened recently.
Yeah,
man.
that's like obviously that whole thing happened recently, bro. And it's like part of me is like very sad. Like it's very sad as human beings, whatever. But it's like, bro, I don't think you could ever make me that curious, you know, or that excited to see. I don't know, bro.
The craziest part is they all paid 250
Yeah.
grand each
Do
to
it.
go down. Bro, even if you paid me 250 grand, I wouldn't go. Oh, no, thank you.
No way.
Nothing like that, man. Like, I'm a type of person, I'll try anything once,
Yeah.
but, man,
some
something
things-
with water. Something with
Uncontrollable.
water, yeah.
Scary.
Uncontrollable.
But isn't
Water
it
is scary.
It's wild that like that is a majority of this whole planet, right?
Yeah.
And we just
Fear it.
we'll just leave that.
We know more
Just
about outside this
then,
planet than
bro.
Then it-
yeah.
Crazy to me, man.
That is mad.
Yeah.
Like it's yeah, you're right. It's a scary, crazy thing though. But yeah, I couldn't. It's
So what's
mad.
happening with? I mean, I've seen it all over, but I did not read on it too much. So
It's gone.
Yeah.
It's gone.
That's it.
That's just
Yep.
mad, man.
Apparently it was
Yeah,
like
man.
a soda can.
It's gone.
Yeah, just
no way.
Yeah, gone, man.
So everyone would have
Everyone in there gone.
pressure was too much.
But, like, it's Titanic. Like, who cares? Yeah, that's what I don't
This
understand.
is exactly what I said to my sister. I'm like, because she was like, oh, like, you know, Titanic, all the like, I'm just like, bro, like, what you're gonna go down there and all you're gonna see is a rusty
Ship.
piece of shit.
Titanic.
Like, fair enough if it's like the only ship that's ever been built.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, bro, this is like we've surpassed it. Like, there's no point in looking
yeah.
back
We've
at
done
it unless
so
it's in a museum.
Yeah, yeah.
There's no point.
Exactly, yeah. In
Yeah.
a museum, like, cool. Wow.
Like a
you know?
piece of history or
Yeah.
something like that. But, bro, look,
Because you also wouldn't have been able to get out of the submarine
Exactly.
to like go and explore or anything.
no
You're
way.
just
The
seeing it
pressure
from
and everything.
inside. Yeah.
Oh man, that's madness, bro. Yeah, it's probably. I think the crazy part is because it must have been something that could happen regularly. You know what I mean? Like many people have done this type of a trip. You know
Have
what I'm
they?
saying?
I don't know.
Potentially, I'm sure, right?
Wow.
I don't know.
Have they?
I don't know.
Potentially, I don't know.
Yeah,
What, is it the first of its kind?
potentially.
But that's what I'm like. Yeah, for the upper echelon where you can afford that, it's like, oh yeah, oh Jimbo and Janice just did it last summer. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
I was
yeah.
like, I don't
Do
think
it.
Jimbo is going to the submarine.
Yeah,
Timothy. But you know what I mean? Like potentially it could be something that had.
Yeah.
I don't know if this was the first of its kind trip down there. You know what I mean? So
Can
like,
you imagine being in that tax bracket where you get offered these kind of activities?
I was gonna say, yeah.
Like, I used to work with a guy where the reps from like Louis and Dior and all these people would like message him of like, hey, this is new stock coming in. Like, do you want to purchase anything? And I was like, oh, like you don't even have to go to the shop for this. Like, they just come. Like, I can't even imagine this. Right? Like, it's crazy. The way some people live is just different. It's different overall.
They're sending
Fuck.
you stuff saying, "Hey,
Yeah.
we got this."
Now imagine it's, hey, do you want to pay $250,000 to go to the bottom of the world?
Yeah, but I mean, ultimately, you know, people work hard to achieve that type of money for experiences.
Yeah.
Because that's what the money's going to bring, you know?
Yeah.
You get to experience something that not your regular average Joe person would be able to. So can you imagine, having that money and being like, yeah, I get to experience this, and then
Yeah.
that ends up happening. It's pretty tragic, but
bro, it's mad. What else is there that is just like a nah?
I think, like, the one thing that I wanted to do was go Antarctica. But, like, the flight. So, what is it? It's like a flight from Melbourne or Sydney. They just fly there.
Yeah.
No, they just fly there
straight? Okay, yeah.
and fly back. Like, as in,
Right.
they just, like, fly over it. You can just view it from a flight.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, that would be all right.
Okay,
I'm
that's-
like, but, like, I actually want to go there.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, I'd love to go there. But then again, just as dangerous.
Yeah.
'Cause all it takes
Yeah.
is, like, one big crack and you're done.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Dude.
Like, there's stuff
That
that I'd
would be
love to
scary.
see, and then stuff that are like I wouldn't touch, man. Like, there's just, you know, like here volcanoes, like active volcanoes,
Oh.
Nah.
like
I
stuff
hate
like
people
that.
climb those and all that. Yeah.
I
Yeah,
can do that.
active.
Yeah.
Nah,
Nah, not active.
I gotta watch
man.
that from
Yeah.
the top or something. Nah.
Yeah,
This guy.
See, in my mind, I'm out running lava.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's what happens when you watch too much cartoons, man. That's what happens.
Oh, lava!
I saw Eddie do it.
Bro, but in my mind, like, there's one thing that has definitely always made me scared of like Antarctica is the one where there's just always a scene in these type of movies. You fall into the crack and then you can see the person in the glass, but you can't get out. You can't find the hole again, man. Pause. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? I'm like, that scene there or that thought, I'm like, yeah.
See, like anytime you play with water, right?
Facts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Frozen water, melted water, everything.
A whole lot.
Just one of those elements that you just can't muck around with, man.
Nah, it's crazy what
Do
happened.
you, do you think being a father made you more like, I don't
Cautious.
want to try anything? Like in terms of that kind of, like it made you more scared in terms of that stuff? Or not really?
Indifferent, man.
No different,
Honestly, no, nothing too different. Like being a father affects my sort of like day to day.
Yeah.
Like in terms of like a big, like you said, Mr. Beast got invited onto the submarine.
Yeah.
I could have gotten invited and been like, you know what? That would make a crazy video idea.
Yeah.
Come with me, guys.
Yeah.
And, you know, sometimes you've got to, it's like my biggest gamble has been like try the most expensive coffee in the world.
Yeah.
$200 for a cup of coffee.
Oh,
Is
wow.
that
Yeah.
original Arab or what?
No, here in Melbourne.
Oh, wow.
So $200.
Yeah, we lost our minds in this conversation. We lost our
So what happened was Channel 7 put out a video that Proud Mary have got like a certain type of bean.
Yeah.
There's only 30 servings of it in the world, 15 in Australia, 15 in America. Proud Mary are selling it for $200 a cup. I've made the coffee videos, so I'm like, bro, I've got the audience
It's
for
only
it.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's only right. I'll go out. I spent $200 on this coffee. What I didn't know is it's a pour over coffee. So it's not even like a proper espresso. And I drink my coffee black.
Oh.
This thing was like a tea. So like as in they crush the beans.
Yeah.
They grind it,
Just like,
put it in a paper, and then it's a drip
yeah.
for $200.
Yeah.
And it tasted like dirt. Anyways, but I thought like, man, this will be a good content video.
content,
Like
yeah.
good content. Because you got to remember from a content creator, you're like, well, this will be different.
Yeah.
I'm spending $200 on 200,000, but I'm like, it'll make for a good video idea. Ended up doing numbers, but it goes to show like the thought process of a content creator.
Yeah.
Sometimes you think something
Yeah.
is such a
Yeah.
good idea, but it could be the exact opposite.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
True.
So that's why I'm like, you know what? I got to find that fine line balance of,
Yeah.
you know, risk versus reward.
Yeah.
Like if it's monetary, then it's just like money comes and goes. But if it's like livelihood, then oh, you know what? Maybe not. Because like I climbed up the stadium in Perth, and we got to the roof.
Legally or?
Yeah, no. Like, organised by up the stadium. We get to the top, and one of the guys with us started freaking out, like actually having a panic attack. I was fine. Up until he started freaking out, and then I started freaking out too.
Why are we scared?
I started freaking out so much that I went live on Instagram just in case any insurance claims. I've got about like 500 witnesses on Instagram live. I just have to make sure.
The most
Cover all my
mentality
bases.
in the world, bro.
Compo!
That's hilarious.
So that's why I'm just like, yeah, man.
given
It's a livelihood. You know, sometimes it's a bit
Yeah.
risky. So I was on that, and he's panicking, and my hands started sweating.
Oh,
I don't
no.
know. I never sweat from my hands.
Yeah.
And I've got my phone. My phone is attached to me via a rope.
Yeah.
So I'm like, man, if I drop this phone, everything is gone. I'm falling with it. Yeah, and it was just, super
That's
crazy.
hectic. Even in line with that, you kind of mentioned before the line of not knowing what not to cross when it comes to doing this for the content or even family, what not to share, what to share. It's funny how sometimes that I think you do a very good job of not blurring it when it comes to the family very well, and I think your wife has a part to play in that of not oversharing when it comes to family, like you know, being very respectful when it comes to like not not monetizing. That's the word.
Yeah,
like,
I think monetizing would be
your
the right
your
word.
children and things like that.
Ah, man, like you should like. I hate it when companies reach out and they're like, you know, we'd love to send this for your girls if you could just post it. And I'm just like, bro, I'm not posting my kids because of your brand,
Yeah.
unless it's something that actually like already use.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
It's-
So,
I think I saw a video recently about it was like a UK content creator, and she was in the car with her, I think maybe son or something, right? And I think their pet had just been put down, I think, or having a surgery at the vet or something like that, right? And it's funny though, because I'm like, how do content creators don't watch their whole video before they release it or what? Anyways, the video is her telling the son, like, just cry and like maybe put your
For the
hand here,
thumbnail?
put your hand here like this a little bit, like, but let them see the tears come down. Or so I'm like, what are you putting this kid through? Like, they're mourning the potential loss of their pet dog, Scrappy or whatever. and you're saying like, you know what I mean, or tilt like this, or just maybe just
crying all
like a little bit more. And I'm like, yo, this here, like, what have we done to just this human
Yeah.
experience? Like, that is crazy.
I never want my content to affect my day to day.
Mm.
Like I never want it to be like, oh, is this podcast worth doing? Is it going to be good content?
Yeah.
For me, I just want to go with the flow. And that's why like a lot of people are like, oh, why don't you collaborate and do this and do that? And I'm like, I mean, for what it's worth, it's probably not worth it. I'm just like, you know what? I'd rather just do something if it feels good. And that's it. Like just go off feel, you know, like if I feel like doing a podcast, you know, if I felt like today's episode wouldn't be appropriate, I would have been like, hey, like maybe do it another time. You know, if always something is like, yeah, I want to do a podcast, I want to sit and chat all night, then I'm like, yeah, sweet, get me on the 199. Don't worry about the 200. But you know, just I think that's why I don't overshare as well, man, because then people feel like, oh, you know, if I get to know your wife, I can get to you, or you know, if I feel like, you know, I can do this for your kids. You know, like
You're gonna
like
it more.
primary schools are like, you know, they've got principals and teachers that are like, I'll get your school, I'll get your kids into this school. You know, if you just, you know, be buddy with me and, you know, post this and post that. And, you know, people do this for attention. So to get tagged or like shouted out,
sure.
imagine what they do for money. Right?
Yeah.
So that's why I'm like very selective with like, you know, just sharing certain things because I don't want it to sort of spill over into my day-to-day life.
I like that.
Good. Is it cool when the things is it cool when the things cross over that it's like things that you're actually passionate about, like for example the KO stuff that happened, all that
That's
kind of
pretty
stuff.
cool.
Like,
Yeah, I saw that. That was nice.
because like at least for me, like looking at it, I'm like, oh, that looks like the dream, like something that you just genuinely enjoy, and now they come to you and they're like, hey, we have work for you. You know, like what's that like? Oh, we'll fly you. Was it Perth or?
We did Perth, Sydney, Gold Coast. Yeah, and a few things in Melbourne. So with KO Sports, it's like, it's a blessing. You know, it's a partnership now. Like,
Okay,
you
wow.
know, like I started off with just like, oh, you know, do this, do that. And now it's come to the point where it's like, no, it's a partnership. Like we're doing this for X amount of time, which has been super rewarding, super cool. I've met a lot of awesome people. It is a dream come true because, you know, I grow up watching sports. So to work with like a sports broadcaster, I mean, a sports streaming service. Or like whichever falls under, it's just absolutely amazing. Awesome opportunities, you know, talking about the stuff that I actually enjoy talking about. And they're great for networking as well. You know, food, sports, two things that bring people together. So it's been the best, man.
That's very cool.
They've done nothing but the best by me. And they're probably one of the first companies to sort of like reach out and be like, you know, we love what you're doing. Like we believe like you could be, you know, one of the biggest, if not like, you know, the main person to sort of like carry. And, you know, my goal, like I say it on every podcast, 1 million followers. And, you know, like if there's 25 million people in Australia, why can't 1 million people follow me? Yeah.
Think about that, man.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's
that's like if I can't get 1 million followers, I don't deserve it. You know, and hopefully I can bear that flag overseas and, you know, bring some sort of representation. And then like when cool people come down, always get them on a podcast like this and, you know, build up the Australian because, you know, when your table is full, you got to invite more chairs, like put in more chairs, not like make your table wider and just sit by yourself, right? That's been my mentality.
Absolutely.
I like that, man. It's interesting as well because like, especially somewhere like Australia, we enjoy a certain, we like there's a stark difference between what gets pumped and pushed and what is bigger. Obviously, I don't want to use the word mainstream because I think it's shifting a little bit, but you think of like Logies and who you see there, you're like, damn, I don't remember the last time I watched these shows or tuned into that. And it's like, for the culture, like there's people popping and you're like, imagine what it looks like when we have people like yourself posted up in these, you know, these spaces and these places, these events. It's like, yo, we're clear at that point, man. It's like the type of stuff that comes out of that, man, wholesome content, man. Like
definitely. And I think like what's missing is representation. Yeah. Like we don't just want like, you know, a Sudanese or a Nigerian or Iraqi or Moroccan guy up there. We just need someone, we need an actual good person. Like, you know, regardless of what nationality they are, we just need good people up there. And, you know, I'm not saying I'm the best person or something like that, but, you know, like I hope, you know, I genuinely hope to be up there to inspire everyone, especially for us, you know, none of us get encouraged to do anything creative. It's always like, no, you should do tradie, work hard and become a doctor, become an engineer. You know, I want to hopefully bridge that gap between like the old and the new and show them like, hey, if I can do it, you guys can do it too. And, you know, and right, like with their logis and stuff like that, I understand. Well, when I was younger, I used to be like, oh, how come there is no representation? But you think about it, it's a whole different niche. Like, how many of us watch TV?
Honestly,
Yeah.
I've never watched was Offspring with Ashley
Yeah,
Kenny.
or like home,
I've
like
never.
yeah, exactly, like just stuff like that. So
Yeah.
like, it's a whole different niche, and that's what
Yeah.
like when you're young and you watch the Super Bowl
Yeah,
or like the AFL Grand Final, and you're like the entertainment is like some band, and you're like, bro, who the hell listens to this stuff? Yeah, like like you got Joker and the Thief by Wolf Mother playing, and you're like, who listens to this stuff?
Yeah.
And then you realize like the decision makers,
Yeah.
the decision makers, and the main like I guess niche.
That
Yeah.
taps into that. Yeah.
Exactly, they're the ones
Yeah.
that listen to that.
Yeah.
And that's like when I realized, like when 50 Cent, Dr. Dre, and Eminem came out in Super Bowl, I'm like, all right, now the main decision makers are the ones that used to listen to
Yes.
50 Cent
Yeah.
back then,
Yeah.
and then bringing it
Change.
forward.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
100%.
God willing, when we're in our 40s and 50s, like
Yeah.
that's what that looks like.
Mm.
Which is funny, right? Because like now there's even like social media awards,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's like it's funny, right? Like when I was first like starting off, like this time around doing TikToks and reels, I remember like seeing another content creator post like that they got like almost like a rookie of the year
Yeah.
like type of
Okay.
like social
Oh,
like
yeah.
content
Yeah.
creator like up and coming, like this guy won the thing, and like I remember like I was killing it like that first year. I was like doing so well, and I remember seeing that award and just thinking like, bro, these guys been making videos for like 4 or 5 years, bro. This guy got the rookie. It's like they did a Ben Simmons all over again. I'm just like, bro, how's this rookie of the year? So now with like awards and all that stuff, man, I don't even take serious. And like I said, like can't take it personally. At the end of the day, it's just a plastic trophy to put, because like with most of that stuff, it lasts for like that month of like, you're the cool guy and everything.
Yeah.
Then after that, it's just like, you're just the guy who won a Logie.
Yeah, it's true.
Speaking of seeing things that like you love come back, or being able to enjoy something that you're watching, right? You gotta explain this feeling to us, because at least I'm from a country where this is never gonna happen. So are they? Nigeria might. What's it like watching your country go far in the World Cup?
It's the best feeling ever.
Yeah.
It was so good that I stopped making videos during that 2-week period,
Yeah.
man. I stopped making videos. That's all
Yeah.
I cared about. That's all I spoke about. And it's funny, right? Because, man, it was awesome. First game, I'm in Sydney for KO Sports watching the boxing.
Yeah.
Boxing is on. I've got my phone down here and I'm watching. I'm sorry, guys. Lucky it wasn't for work. Actually, I actually just wanted to be there. Morocco versus Croatia, first game, draw.
Yeah.
And just like most Moroccans, I lost hope. I'm just like,
Yeah,
bro,
yeah.
every single World Cup,
Yeah.
we're like the promising African nation.
Yeah.
To, if there's an African nation to make it out, it's got to be Morocco.
Yeah.
They're the ones with the right talent in the right places.
Yeah.
Whilst every other African team just has that like one superstar, and then everyone else is just
Yeah.
below average, right?
Yeah.
And then the second game, I was back in Melbourne, watched that. I'm like, oh, whoa.
We're
We just beat Belgium.
Yeah.
And Belgium is like meant to be the dark horse
Top
of the
four,
competition,
top four in the
right?
world, yeah.
Easy, yeah. That was a surprise.
I'm like, mad. Third game, we beat Canada. I'm like, no way. We made it out of the group stages.
Yeah.
This is awesome. This is amazing.
Yeah.
Let us get knocked out. I don't care.
I'm chuffed.
We match up against Spain.
Tough.
And I'm like, oh, man, the
Downhill.
neighbors, bro, they're just dogs, man. They're just like, bro, like when the way they play football, no one plays like them. Super technical, tactical, that old tiki-taka,
move
which
the ball
that really
fast,
doesn't, it doesn't work. But like the amount of passes they do, they just tire teams out,
Yeah.
score. That's what Real Madrid, like most of these teams do. They tire teams out from the 80th minute onwards.
Yeah.
They
That
capitalize
makes a
and
difference in
score.
the game, yeah.
You look at like most Spanish teams, they score 80 minutes onwards. They never score early. If they score early, it's just because they catch them cold.
So on goal.
Pretty much, yeah. Or penalty or something like that. We beat Spain. Could not believe it. Lost my voice and everything. Around the time we beat Spain, I copped a couple messages.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, can you please stop posting about Morocco? Start making videos. We don't care. And I'm just like, nah, man, I'm going to keep going.
Possible.
Next team we match up against Portugal.
Yeah.
I'm like, bro, no chance. I love Ronaldo. I'm like, man, whoever wins, this is bad.
Yeah.
This is bad, man. If Ronaldo gets knocked out, it's bad. If Morocco gets knocked out, it's bad. My dad messages me. He's like, I've got tickets to go Qatar. Just book a flight and come. He's in Morocco. He's in Morocco watching it.
Dang.
He's like, just book
Yeah.
and come to Qatar, watch. And I'm like, bro, if we make it to the final, I don't care. I'm leaving the country, leaving my kids, leaving my wife. I'm never seeing Morocco in a final again. We beat Portugal. I'm like, no way. I'll go to my work and I'm just like, guys, if Morocco beat France, I'm out of here. They're like, yeah, no worries. We're wrapped for you and everything. Then we ended up getting knocked out by France, but we came fairly close. But it was the best experience. Because for the first time, like I said, representation.
Yeah.
The Moroccan team from day dot brought out their mothers to the pitch. Bro, they celebrated with the fans.
Yeah.
You know, good press. Everything that they spoke about was like awesome. You know, like as you can probably tell throughout this podcast, you know, the common themes, family, God.
Yeah.
That's all they cared about, you know, just making sure, they represented
Yeah.
us in a good way. For the first time, like, my African friends are like, you're African. I'm like, I told you, bro. I told you.
I was saying to someone the other day, I was like, I realized, bro, Middle East was rap, North Africa was rap, and then I started seeing Sub-Saharan Africa go, Africa, that's Africa. I was like, okay, all right.
This is what I've been trying to tell you since day dot, man. This is what I've been trying to tell you. So yeah, you know, like I was wrapped, and just like, you know, I think just it was a good representation for Africa, Middle East.
Yes.
It was beautiful.
Yeah.
Like from day dot and everything, and you know they can walk out of that tournament holding their head high, knowing they overachieved and represented people that are the most underrepresented in the world in a global tournament, biggest tournament in the world. So it was absolutely amazing, man.
Must be nice.
Yeah.
Sorry, I mean,
Definitely.
I missed
like,
that last World Cup.
I'm hoping we come out strong in the next one. Yeah,
Oh,
the next one, especially in America.
The team's
It'll
still
be
kind of
awesome.
young. A lot of the
Yeah, they've definitely got another 2 more World Cups in, and most of the team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I catch
So
you in
we'll see.
Mexico or Canada or
America,
wherever it'll be,
or
man. We'll catch
bro,
you.
wherever they are. I'll be
Yeah,
there,
wherever
man.
it is.
I think this time around I'll definitely
That's,
attend.
that's what we were saying. This one will have to be
Do the trip.
a proper trip
Yeah.
for us as a boys, and with wives even. And
I mean,
Hey.
if she wants to come, she can come. Pity invite. Nah.
Yeah, man.
Literally.
I mean, if you want to, you can come.
no, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
You guys want to do any dilemmas potentially, and then a
Ooh.
wake up call or what?
I don't have a wake up call this week.
All right, so do a dilemma,
Yeah.
and we'll get the
What's
man.
the dilemma?
Yeah, well,
What's
brother.
the
People send them
dilemma
through to
for the
us.
big 200th episode? Talk to me.
All right, what is this?
The big one that someone sent through?
Yeah. All right.
Big one.
Yeah, apparently.
All right. What's this dilemma? Is this their dilemma or is
Yeah,
this like a
Yes,
general?
Yeah,
dilemma?
yeah. What the heck is this? All right. We have a crisis in Melbourne. The dating pool is getting so critical that people are dating their cousins. PSA, anyone in your inner tribe or clan is your cousin. You guys are in the same tribe because you share a common ancestor. What else did they say here?
They kept going.
Yeah, they kept going. Pretty much they're saying dating from another family in your clan is wild. Prepare for things because we are going. What does it say? Because we are in hell right now.
Oh, God.
No wonder we make up. What is it? No wonder we wake up to. I think it's meant to say. No wonder we wake up to earthquakes fortnightly. Kids with 15 feet, 6 eyes. What is going on? Anyways, I think they're pretty much saying that the dating pool is
Shrinking.
is shrinking here.
Yeah.
Cousins.
What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts? Is this common in like just social media yelling and all that kind of stuff there, or do we actually have a crisis here in Melbourne?
It feels like, you know, like in The Simpsons, the old man screaming at the grey cloud.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just like
That's
it's
what it
just
seems
the
like,
social media has just made it like one big echo chamber of like, this is bad, and then everyone just says, it's bad, it's bad.
bad, yeah.
It's good, it is good. You know what I mean? Like, bro, people don't even know good when they see good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, how many like, bro, I know boys that are always like, bro, you know, I want to settle, I want to get married. And then you're like, you know what? Maybe this guy's being serious. Let me find you a good girl. Like, meet this girl, meet that girl.
Right.
Nah, man, she wants to get married, I think. But you just told me you wanted to settle. What are you on about, bro?
It's just give me a stop
Not
for
ready.
Me, bro.
Yeah, man, she wants to settle. Like, she wants to get married. Bro, I thought that's what you
what you
wanted.
want.
Yeah, man. We don't know what we want.
Exactly, yeah, exactly.
I actually don't know what we want.
That's-
And man, people get burnt with referrals. Yeah. Bro, have you ever...
Nah, talk this through.
Nah,
Talk this
listen.
through.
Listen to me. How many times you know good people around
Yeah.
you, and bro, you want to suggest or recommend someone that they can date,
Yeah.
all right? But you don't want to look bad if it goes wrong,
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
okay?
Yep.
So a lot of people are getting burnt.
Yeah.
So the recommendation, Paul, what's the main source of income for a business? Referrals.
100%.
And no one wants to refer, so there's no business. That's why it's all shrinking.
Can't even
actually
trust
bad.
anymore, man.
Exactly.
People on
That's
some
bad.
weird timing.
Exactly. And
Genuinely. Yeah.
you don't know someone.
Yeah.
Yeah, like there are people like the next door neighbor that end up being like a murderer or something
Yeah,
like
man.
that, but they're the nicest person,
Yeah.
right?
That's
But, you know
so
how
true.
how many like as a girl, your girlfriends, and you think, oh, like why is she single? Like she's a great girl,
Yep,
everything thing. You're like, what? Why don't I recommend a friend or my husband's friend, my fiance's friend, the cousin, or anything like that?
Long.
And then
He finds out the truth, man.
Yeah, you find out the truth. Either she's the crazy one,
Yeah.
or the person, it's just
Yeah,
actually
just not
doesn't want.
feeling.
Like they say, they project like I think this whole law of attraction thing has sort of like got people spinning crazy.
Yeah.
They think like, oh, if I just talk about it,
It'll
it's
come.
like it'll come. It's
Yeah.
like
You
no,
need to
bro,
change.
you gotta you know what I tell my family. I'm like, yeah, it's good, all in good or well to say inshallah,
Yeah.
but put in the work, bro.
Exactly.
You want something, put in the work.
Exactly.
Everyone wants to get married, but no one wants to work. Man,
Yeah.
relationship is
It's
full
work,
time.
man.
Yeah, you
It's
want a
full
wife,
time.
but you're not ready to be a husband. Come on.
Exactly. Preach.
Yeah, that referral,
So the dating pool ain't getting small, man. You just close-minded. Maybe your mentality
Exactly.
is, man.
Yeah.
that referral thing is funny. You get that phone call from your friend. Why don't you tell me your boy is toxic?
Yeah,
I'm
man.
down with this.
Yeah. Or people, bro, people fall in love with a facade as well.
Yeah, that's
People see something on social media. Oh, she follows this guy, so she's a bad person. Like, bro, maybe she's just following him because she's following him. Like, it's nothing like you don't know that person.
Yeah.
It's not really not that deep. And like people at that, and like people think they have a lot of options as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. How many people they're like, oh, she liked my story. That means she wants me. And I'm like, no, bro, she just
one of
pressed the
options.
button.
There's
She was trying to
nothing
get a
to it.
smudge off her phone, fam.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
That's bad.
right? So that like people are just genuinely deluded, bro.
Yeah,
It's crazy. Nah, yeah.
Social media makes us deluded.
You know,
for
and they
sure.
think like, oh, they're moving to me. It's like, bro, no one is moving to you. They're just tapping. Like, and how many times, like, bro, the first year of my marriage was just like me unconsciously tapping on a girl's photo. And my sister would send me a screenshot.
What are you doing?
My wife would send me a screenshot. Oh, why are you liking this girl's photo? They just say she's in a bikini and this and that. And I'm like, bro, I didn't even think about it.
Bro, these guys were on me,
Nah,
man.
nah,
like,
nah,
it wasn't even. Bro, now you can't. Now because I said, bro, you can't. It's not on my name now. You try to look
There's
through my life.
a
You
difference.
can't.
There's a difference
No,
if she's
don't
in a
do that.
bikini standing up.
Look
The
at this
difference
liar.
if she's
He's such a
like
liar.
this, bum cheeks to the camera,
Yeah,
and you're
liars.
liking it. You. What do you
Bro,
mean? Oh, I didn't notice.
Dragging my name in the
Bro.
mud, bro.
Yeah, I didn't notice.
You know, that's Steve.
Steve
Yeah.
Wons from Macca's, bro.
Listen. The best apology is changed behavior.
That's it.
And he has changed.
Oh, don't drag it like
And he
this.
has
No.
changed.
You have
Oh,
changed.
he's
bro.
changed.
Nah,
Not like
nah,
I was
nah.
the worst of the worst, bro. Lock me up, bro.
Hey, thank God Instagram got rid of that thing where you could see what every activity.
The activity?
Bro, I
page.
know this guy's would have been a madness.
Listen, if
Nah,
they
yours-
bring that back, they bring back Snapchat best friends.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
do
Dating
Yeah.
pool get even smaller.
Because everyone's gonna
That's so
finish
true.
themselves.
That's
Once
it.
they see what the man's up to,
That's
what the
mad.
yeah.
They dragged it. Don't listen to this nonsense.
The
from
best
me. They-
apology is change behavior.
That's
Have you
it.
changed?
Nah, he's changed.
All right, look, there was not much to change from.
Nah,
yeah.
nah, nah.
But they can't.
I think you
there's
went back to
nothing- there's
unlike
nothing
some
on me
photos
now.
too.
There's nothing.
Said,
I
know
mean,
this
it doesn't
account I liked a lot.
doesn't help that the explore page snitches. Yeah.
That's true.
Nah, I don't believe that. That explore page, Instagram has an agenda. They have an agenda there, man. Because the way
Yeah.
these bots are moving, the explore page does not reflect my being.
As a content creator,
Yeah.
let me tell you this: the algorithm just gives you more of what you're interested in. So if you open up your
caught
explore
out.
page right
Check
now,
mine right now. Let's
right now, and you look at the first 6-7 photos, that's what you're
beautiful.
into,
Exactly.
whether you like it or not.
Everyone tell us what yours is showing. Everyone tell us what yours is showing. And I want you of your personal one, not the podcast.
Of course,
Instagram.
of course.
Whoever's gonna cap for us.
I can already tell you mine is food and bridal stuff. So let me check what it is.
Mine has got.
Everyone take a screenshot. Let's put this in the.
Okay, mine is loading. Mine is calm.
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought.
Do that. Football, food,
Bikini?
food.
Mine is alright.
Lil Durk.
That's a little dirt,
I
bro.
want to see who's gonna get exposed here.
No, I think we're kind of calm. Instagram's behaving itself today, bro.
Oh man, I just got boxing photos,
Yep.
Okay.
and boxing videos, and that will explain because I was just at the boxing recently. So,
There we go, man. We're looking good.
and a couple of motivational quotes. That's
There we
it.
go. Everyone wholesome, healthy.
Wholesome people.
Mine's all bridal
Alright,
and
cool.
food.
So mine was all
Aha.
stuff. So mine was good. What's nose? Nose is football.
Football and food, bro.
Football and food. Mine is fashion suits.
Man said fashion and suits.
Nah,
bro.
it actually is.
Fashionista.
I know, yeah. ASOS design.
Daniel.
What do you
Daniel,
mean,
bro,
Daniel?
yours is weird, bro. Hold on, what's that?
Bro, don't drag it down, Daniel. All right. I got basketball, literally
Of course he's got
basketball.
anime.
Anime,
got
that's my
anime
stuff
in
right
I
there.
swear
there.
he scrolled down.
Tattoos, tattoos, and that, and then a 3-footed shoe. I don't understand what's
then
going
a
I
on.
foot-
saw this one too.
Yeah.
Then a foot of a girl down there.
Oh, drive, get out of here, bro.
What? I'm lying.
He's not lying.
Why I love my husband.
Good man. Good man. Respect.
God.
Oh my days. All right, we got another dilemma.
Another dilemma? Hit
Yeah,
me.
yeah. This one's kind of interesting, right? First of all, I love you guys. Been supporting since Blurk Chat Day. Shout out to you. Second of all, Blurk Chat is the one where we're talking about body counts, and my parents told us to leave the house. Yeah. Second of all, my dilemma is since I graduated uni, my family, parents, older siblings, and uncles have been trying to lure me into an arranged marriage. They've told me, let's go.
Not a bad option considering the pool's getting smaller.
Take your family up on it.
It's mad. They said they've told me, let's go visit family back in South Sudan when family was actually the in-laws. Oh, damn. They already started the process. Now, what makes it difficult is I have a partner all my days in whom
that's
I love very much. And he feels the same. My immediate family knows and loves him from what I know and hear. And he's threatened to break up with me because he doesn't feel like he's good enough. Whoa, what's going on
Yeah,
here?
this one was a mad.
Nah, this
We've been speaking of marriage for a while now, but I believe my family's increasing the dowry because they don't approve of him. Oh my goodness.
Terrible.
It's literally a battle between family versus future. I don't know what to do. So in summary, family's pushing this person for an arranged marriage, clearly for someone within the similar tribe to them back home. They already have a partner presently here who is from a different tribe, and the family's, I guess, trying to put roadblocks by increasing dowry price or something like that to stop that from happening. They said, "What?"
But they love him.
and they love the
They like her current
Partner
partner.
has
but
said, "Yo, I'm a dip if you don't."
yeah.
Wow.
Did you pay dowry for your wife?
Yeah, of course.
Good man.
He said, "Of course, that's a good man." You're expecting a different answer,
Very
yeah?
good
Requirement
man.
or
It's a religious requirement, and I would have anyway.
Yeah, wow, good
Yeah.
man.
Mm.
Don't me.
Look, man, I just covered the wedding dress, man. Nah.
All right, because we've got them conversations too, man. This dowry thing is mad. It's mad.
All right.
But this is
What do we do for this person?
So the price is going up like Bitcoin.
Price is going up,
Yeah,
man.
seems like just try
To the
and
moon.
stop it.
He's from a different tribe.
Yeah.
Wow, man. That's quite the dilemma.
That is crazy.
What
don't
can
know,
you
bro.
do,
For
man?
me personally, I look at this stuff and I'm like, this is where you have to go. I'm an adult and put my
Yeah,
foot
it's
down.
on
'Cause
them.
if there's genuinely nothing wrong with the relationship that you have, it's like I don't know, like
Especially if you see potential with the person
Exactly.
that you're with.
yeah.
And you can see yourself getting married to that person. You gotta put your foot down.
That's what it is. It seems like it's just like a he's not from our tribe type of situation. It's not that we don't like him or he's bad for you. It's just this cultural aspect of it, which, to be honest, just bun it.
Yeah.
I'll
I
say.
think like sometimes you've got to let your parents' dream die for yours to live.
For sure.
Yeah.
For
Yeah.
sure.
You know, sometimes that's the only way your dream will live is if their dream of you
Yeah.
dies.
Wow.
So, you know,
That's crazy.
maybe just definitely take your
Yeah.
advice on that.
Bro, we just got some in-laws posted up in South Sudan just waiting.
But this is the thing, yeah. Like, okay, they're gonna be mad.
The craziest part is that like they don't mind waiting. That's
Exactly,
the craziest
yeah.
part.
They'll
Like,
wait.
arranged marriages,
Yep,
right?
yep.
They're not like, yeah, man, we'll wait.
Australian babes. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it, man. Blue passport, yeah, no worries. Meanwhile, man, Domino's like 5 minutes late, and I'm there like, what the hell's going on?
They got time.
Yeah,
Dang, man. Yeah.
but then again, overseas, man, and a blue passport is like you've won the lottery.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crack.
So they'll wait for
You
time.
really have. That's Powerball.
Yeah.
Bro, so what? You
man.
tell
Yeah.
what? Yeah, just they should tell the family, hey, look.
Flip a coin. No, don't flip a coin. But I think, yeah, man, just
put your foot down there.
put your foot down, definitely. Put your foot down, and I think the whole tribal thing ends with our generation onwards as well.
Like
you
you
know?
said that,
for
man.
sure.
Because I think you realize that, you know, people are people, and I guess like tribes and borders are just the thing of the past. And,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, does it really translate and carry over to Australia?
I think that's the thing. Like, a lot of parents came as refugees and immigrants and stuff, and it's like they forgot that they're gonna raise kids in an environment that they did not grow up in.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Completely different. So if like my parents, like they grew up, everyone in their class was Iraqi. So the only option was they're going to marry an Iraqi. It wasn't even a conversation.
Yeah.
Right? But it's like you come here and your child has Sudanese and Egyptian and Albanian and Moroccan and Australian. And it's like, trust your kid's going to end up liking
options,
whatever
yeah.
they is in front of them. Right?
100%,
And it's like what's in front of them is not what was in front of you. You have to, as an adult, be mature enough, as the parent adult, yeah, to just accept that.
Yeah.
But it's crazy how like some people are still stuck beyond even this country or this. It's like this tribe. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, that's
like
wild.
it's
It's
Australia.
ridiculous. It's ridiculous for sure.
It's mad, bro. That peer pressure. When I found out that parents be having peer pressure, I said, "Come on, man, are you big age?
Hey, you big age.
What's going on? What's this conversation here? Yeah,
It
man.
happens. It
Yeah, they might have
happens.
to just say that to the family. Just
Follow your heart, man. For real.
And if they love you, ultimately, they're gonna accept your decision, and you can have a wedding. So
Definitely. I think they'll initially just be like, oh, hurt.
Yeah.
and then eventually they'll get
they'll
over
get over
it.
it.
Once you have kids, they'll.
Yeah.
Yeah,
no
that's
parent
They'll forget
ever
everything.
stays mad.
Mhm.
Like no parents ever
can't,
stay mad. It's
surely.
very rare.
To stay
It's
mad.
like-
They'll be mad,
Yeah.
but to stay mad.
Yeah.
Nah.
I think if they do stay mad, it's usually like from within. Like it's something
Something else, dude.
something
Yeah.
pre-rooted.
Deeper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's not they're actually mad at the situation. They're probably mad that they didn't get that option.
Facts.
Yeah. I didn't choose your dad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
stuck it up with
Yeah,
you.
whoa, you don't like
Yeah.
dad?
I was talking about that actually with a girl a little while ago.
Why you
She was
stuttering,
saying
bro?
like,
with the
bro, 'cause I was like, do I say lady, woman, girl? Which one do I want to go with? I was like, ladies, woman, too formal. I was talking to a girl and she was saying like her mom's always on her case about like you're always traveling or going out or whatever, and she's like, you're 26, you should be married or whatever, and she's like, I kind of realized my mom at 20 had kids
Yeah.
and she never got to do all this kind of stuff, and she's kind of like, oh shoot, my mom is just a bit envious of the freedoms that I have because of decisions that I got to make. You know what I mean? And it's like kind of just understanding that. It's like, okay, like even our parents are people that just have a hurt and sometimes get that out in the wrong way.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, she's not wrong.
Yeah.
Man, that's a nice
Yeah.
a nice way to put it.
Yeah.
All the best to that dilemma, my friend. That's it, man.
Hopefully it works out.
Please keep us updated.
Well, keep us
For
updated
sure.
with
I
the
wanna know what's gonna happen.
For sure.
I think this is more of a question.
We answered too late. She's in Sudan right
Yeah,
now.
already, yeah. Doing up dowry price and that
It
now.
was a one-way ticket. We didn't
The goats are already on the street.
Literally, man. Bro, that fool is about to bang at the wedding reception. Bro, I'm telling you. This is probably our last cheek. This is more of a just a question, not necessarily a dilemma. Probably a wholesome one, and then we can let you get back to your wife. That's probably gonna start blinging your line soon. Eh? Question is, when doing what activity? I'm gonna reword it because it looks a bit weird. What activity allows you to totally forget about time? Just to everybody. What
I loved
activity
this. I saw this one. I loved it.
allows you to totally forget about time?
That's very easy for me. I think I say this all the time. Playing football,
Football, yeah.
like playing soccer for me is like problems cease to exist. I don't have the capacity to think about anything else.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
feel
yeah.
like
How's
a
my
child
touch?
again. Like it's amazing.
Yeah.
It's genuinely like sometimes I'm mesmerized by how like it can take me from one place to a complete other place, and it's like it's beautiful. Like for me, I'm like I hope everyone has
love
something
that.
like this in their life.
Football is different, man. It's good.
Is that what same for you?
I think so. I think for me, it's any type of sport. Even when we play volleyball on Wednesdays, I just forget about everything. It's just vibes.
3 hours just goes by. Yeah.
3 hours it just goes by. I'm like, bro, how's it? Last time we played until 10. I was like, bro, how did time just fly like this? So any type of sport that involves, of course, like friends, people. It could be football, it could be volleyball. Even last time we went dodgeball. I don't know. Were you there?
The bounce one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was just
bounce
that
dodgeball
was
goes
fun.
crazy.
bounce. We
Yeah.
just dodgeball bounce like with these
Nice.
guys, and it was just forgot. I don't even know if that was like in the evening or not, but time just flew. Just forgot about everything. And then you're driving home, you're like, oh wow, work this, that,
Yeah.
real life.
Forget all that.
$1,012 bills.
Yeah, man. I ain't got time.
Definitely, man. I think
Yeah.
it's like sport just
Just makes you think,
like
yeah.
makes you forces you to focus on what's right in front of you, right? 'Cause every decision counts. Like
100%.
yeah. So I feel like for me, it's training in the gym. You know, for me, that's always been like that's that 1 hour or 2 hours a day that nothing else matters except the 50 kilos or 60 kilos in front of me. The dumbbell's still the weight.
Yeah.
It doesn't ask no questions. The dumbbell doesn't,
Yeah.
change, doesn't anything. 50 kilos, 50 kilos.
Yeah.
It's the most, it's just that consistency.
Yeah.
And, it's like completely switched off. Like lately I've been training without music. That helps. But then again, sometimes the gym's overstimulating. So
Yeah.
I've heard about that. Training without music, and
I
then
think-
I've actually tried it.
yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Or even
No,
what about-
like it's different. It's different. Like
Yeah.
because now what I realize, you actually really focus on the exercises you're doing.
Yeah.
Right? I don't know if that's how you feel, because I was listening to I think I was listening to a podcast. I don't know. I think David Goggins talking about when he trains something with no music. I was like, oh, let me try this. But yeah, you actually tend to focus a lot more on the reps that you're actually doing.
Definitely.
But I was like, man, doing this every time, 4 times a week, I don't know, man. I need a bit of I want to forget about the exercise sometimes.
Yeah.
Just kind of push through. And that's what kind of music does.
Yeah.
Of course.
even suss out maybe noise cancelling headphones, but not playing the music. So like,
So it's just
because I know like some you
quiet.
can turn them on and they're cancelling out the noise, but you're not playing anything.
So earplugs.
Oh,
Bro, yeah. Hey. Might have to clip that one. Bro, this guy spent $500 on nothing.
That's the intro of this whole podcast.
Hey, like legit.
So sorry. I'm so sorry.
it's good.
Cotton.
That's what we're saying. What can I do that can help me forget about time?
Just to end this, Chemist Warehouse earplugs, $20.
Wow, that was bad. That was really bad.
Sorry.
The crazy part is when you said you can turn them on. No, in my head, I was like, whoa.
This is how Apple
That's
is
how
in
they get
profit.
you, yes.
Why do you think Apple is making so much money? Because of people like
I'm
yourself.
not gonna lie.
They got me.
I was not a bad idea.
Bro, they got me. Wow, they got me.
So well.
They sold me on a dream.
Straight into my stand-up comedy tour.
Oh, they got me, bro. Far out,
Hey,
man.
Marwa, what's your thing? That makes you escape?
Let's wrap it up.
I daily go for probably like an hour and a half run every morning.
I'm gonna put your mic
And
down with this.
that really,
Every day
so
I
that
make
really
my
helps
bed.
me escape from
Like,
things.
actually?
An hour and a half run.
Wait, you believe this nonsense she's lying about?
I wish. I actually wish. I
that's
want
a
to get
long
into a routine like that and like do either running in the morning or
That's good.
journaling or something, But I think my escape it's a bit more of a lazy one. I'm a homebody, I like to think. So me just sitting and watching like shows. I love that. I can do it
Sounds
for
like my
hours
wife,
and
yeah.
hours. Yeah. Love doing
You've got to keep her, bro.
Yeah.
What's wrong? This guy's been
That
doing
is
that
actually
non-stop for like
I
2
think
days.
everyone, it's a problem now. I wasn't even on camera. Damn, that was a good one
Like
too.
if your girl's response was going clubbing.
Oh, long day, man. Yeah. What's your escape? What helps you forget about time?
That's
What do you mean forget about her? You're forgetting about me.
that's not my girl. That's our girl, man.
That's the city's girl, bro. That's the city's girl.
Gosh.
Goodness, man.
Love
That's
it.
the lime e-scooter, man. Everyone gets a ride.
Ain't no way, man. Stick to the runs.
The Yarra.
Stick to the runs, please. Stick to the
That's
runs.
it.
Hey, far out. This
Like
is
a
a good
last?
episode.
Oh, you guys
Oh, you
didn't
wanna
care
do
about.
one
No,
more?
you guys
Nah,
didn't
do
want
You gotta
me
wake
to
up
share
or
mine.
no?
Oh, yeah.
You gave us BS with this.
Yeah, you don't deserve to share.
I don't
Like
deserve it. Yeah,
headphones,
yeah,
but
cool.
tell us, what's yours?
Nah, so I know
What's
what
anime?
they
You know
are.
it's
Yeah, it's
anime,
anime.
yeah.
Yeah.
What is it? What is it?
It's anime.
Anime.
Oh, yes, anime.
I was gonna say anime, but I knew you were gonna say something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Teddy, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank
on this
you.
episode. Like, we truly appreciate it. I was even telling the guys, like, when we hit you up,
Yeah, it was shook, bro.
we were shook with how quickly you respond. Hey, this is not for everyone out there to be like, oh, just hit him up, whatever. But it's like,
No, please do. I'm starving.
there's bills. But like, genuinely, because our thing was like, it's hard to approach people in Melbourne. Like, for some reason, people aren't responding, all this kind of stuff. And then like, for you, it's like being one of the people that like a lot of content creators here look up to, for you to just reply like, man, honestly, it was like 27 minutes after. I remember. Yeah.
Counted every one
It
of
was
them.
27 minutes. I replied to your reply later than that.
Acting
And I
hard.
was like, genuinely, like, we're so grateful. Like, this
Honestly.
milestone we wanted to mark it with something special. So thank you for coming through.
Thank you.
Truly appreciate it.
Thank
You guys can follow Tedsthetics right there. You can follow us as well. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share this episode with people, and we'll catch you guys on 201.
201.
A new phase,
Yeah.
bro. A new phase, man.
Latest.
Oh, man. Thank you.
Thank you.
Wow.